At Great Southern Fuels, we know fuel and we know service. We've been doing it for over 40 years. We're a family business, we employ locals and we support the communities we operate in. But don't just take it from us. Hear what our customers have to say.
They're driven by local people, they're great community contributors.
We use Great Southern Fuels because they give us a fantastic service at the right price.
You can rely on them no matter what. It's just a phone call away and the tanks are full.
Why would you go anywhere else?
Great Southern Fuels. Reliability you can trust.
For a limited time only, we've got Honda generators, free delivery until the end of this month of March only. They're super compact, reliable Japanese generators. For more information, check out our website or give us a call.
Umpiring. It is for everyone.
My name's Nick Essler. I'm the National Operations Manager for Blue Diamond Machinery. I've been with the business for 18 months. Blue Diamond Machinery, we've got a great team environment. We encourage input from all of our staff, from warehouse workers to electricians to engineers and sales team, to help us move our customers towards a cleaner future. So we're looking to fill the roles of electrical technicians, both within our production areas and field service, mechanical technicians to support our growing fleet, warehouse workers nationally, fabricators and sheet metal workers to help support our new Blue Diamond engineering facility opening up in Henderson this year. If you'd like to help us deliver quality products, great service and help transition the industry to a cleaner future, we'd love to hear from you.
Grade 2 Russell Chartered account. The City of Greater Geraldton. Community Bank Geraldton. We've been serving the community for over 13 years. And as a price to member the Durac and Skeeters all day, every day. On your home of GNFL football, Radio Mama.
And a very good afternoon and welcome to Glen O'Malley Motors Game Day, Radio Mama, the home of GNFL footy. Great to have you company. Hope your day is going well. Glenn Barter and Peter Prince are calling all the action this afternoon. And it's round 10 of the GNFL Premiership season for the Cooley Filtration Company. And coming live today from WA Country Builders Stadium with the Saints taking on Towns. Mullewa chasing their first win of the season. A little bit underdone again today. Got a few players missing and are up against the fourth place Towns, looking to retain that fourth position. Towns have been in very good form for the majority of the season. Towns looking to go a little bit further today. In minor grade results today, with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton and Lara Dalton, the member for Geraldton. In the Colts, Mullewa 9-9-63 bounced back to winning form, defeating Towns 4 goals 6-30. In the reserves, Mullewa 6-1-37 defeated Towns 4-7-31. And the women's game just concluded and Towns did it well. Towns 19-22, 136 defeated Mullewa 1 goal straight. So a big win there to the Towns side. Wouldn't have done their percentage any harm. And other games today. There's another game out in the country today out at the Mazzucchelli Oval with the top two sides doing battle. Chapman Valley hosting Northampton. Should be a very good contest. In earlier games there today in the Colts, Northampton 14-15, 99 defeated Chapman Valley 1 behind. In the reserves, Chapman Valley 4 goals 6-30 defeated Northampton 3 goals 6-24. And the women's game just concluded. Chapman Valley 8 goals 2 defeated Northampton 2 goals 3. The third contest of the round is out at Greenough Oval with 6th position Rovers hosting the 5th place Railways. And there was no Colts game today because it was a forfeit by the Rovers Colts, and the reserves game is just concluded. No women's game there. Of course, Railways don't have a women's side, so a very, very short game and a very short project out there at Greenough today. Rovers going down in the Colts by a forfeit, and we'll give you the reserve score as soon as they come to hand. But we're here for the big one this afternoon. Towns setting themselves up to be a Final Four contender, and they've got the big job ahead of them. The umpires this afternoon, the GNFL umpires, Brian Cohen and Darren Bryce doing the job. Toss of the coin happening at the moment, and we've got Morris Cummigan doing the toss of the coin for the Mullewa side, as we see the Towns captain coming forward, Drew Forrester.
Good afternoon, Glenn. Mullewa have incidentally won the toss. We're kicking with the breeze. That are 2 goal breeze toward the one fella end this afternoon. But yeah, looking forward to an interesting game of football, Glenn. You and I were in the presence of Mick from Mullewa earlier today, Mick Wall, and he was saying he was a little bit disappointed in the lineup for Mullewa today. So it'll be interesting to see what the Saints can throw at a side in Towns that are gaining some momentum.
Yes, it'll be interesting to see because this is a game you'd expect them to win. They should win, going on the figures and going on the players on their
table. Railways are in a bit of trouble, Peter, out at Greenough, because Railways, they would be expected to win, but Rovers have put their best side forward as they celebrate 120 years of history.
Yes, certainly, Glenn. We spoke this morning to the Rovers JJ Clune medalist, or former JJ Clune medalist. I suppose you're never a former JJ Clune medalist, but Tom Denton, and he was saying, the start to the season has been a mixed one for Rovers, and probably going south more than north. But things have come together for this weekend, and probably putting their best side on the park so far this season.
And the other big game up at Mazzucchelli Oval, we've been there a lot in recent times. Chapman Valley up against Northampton. Northampton, the reigning premier. It's going to be a big test for Chapman Valley today, Peter.
It certainly is, Glenn, but Chapman Valley have taken every challenge on so far this season, and last week was a very comprehensive win over Railways. And speaking with former players, I think it was Regan and Jardine, they tell me that they never played in the Chapman Valley side that beat Railways.
Right, Regan Duckworth and Tim Jardine, 2 of the former greats of the Chapman Valley Footy Club, who were back for the MND Day. And Peter, we did make a lot of it last week, but what a great weekend it was, the MND Day, and you enjoyed going in the ice after all.
I did, Glenn, and I'll have to say that it wasn't as cold as I thought it was going to be, but maybe I prepared myself for something horrific. But no, a great situation for football, and also the Chapman Valley Footy Club, and raising in excess of $30,000.
Cohen about to get this first quarter underway. Doing the first term with thanks to Community Bank Geraldton, as we throw the ball up and around the midfielders going out. Lachlan Murphy, one of the stars of the competition, has an opportunity to go back in on hands and knees. He flicks it out, looking there for a teammate. That teammate is Peyton Mason. Wasn't on play. Umpire Cohen's picked out a free kick. Go the way of Mullewa. Mullewa had the ball in the centre of the ground. Put it on his left boot. Kicks it up towards half. And once again, the veteran Rowan Farris takes a good strong mark. Goes out wide, looking for the hard-running Towns player there. And Towns get the ball up forward through Corlett. Corlett
gets it up to a teammate on centre wing. He comes back in and takes it up towards half forward or half back, and the ball's taken there by the Towns player in Drew Forrester. He gets it up, and Towns go forward now, goes away now with the Roaster, new player in the Towns lineup this year, been very impressive, kicks it up towards half forward, but the Mullewa defence stand firm, and Mullewa get the ball out again. Mullewa have the ball in the centre of the ground. They certainly do. They come through the corridor down to the half forward area. The ball comes up toward Morris coming in. He takes the his mark outside the forward 50, running onto an open goal. This player's working very hard, but the ball wasn't coming from on this occasion, and that was Antonio Little, and the ball coming back to the defender now for Towns. I thought it was going to be a certain goal for the Saints on that occasion, but Towns, instead of the ship, as they've got off, he takes a mark and Willard around, goes laterally now toward the scoreboard. He's looking for support out there, 2 Mullewa, 1 Towns. The Mullewa player dives on top of the ball, he's set on, and is pushing back to the umpire, and the free kick will go the way of the Mullewa player there. Percy also gets the ball up the ground, but only goes as far as Rowan and Forrest. So this game going to script at the moment. Mullewa very much in the game at the moment. Mullewa one of the lovely young players playing this afternoon, coming down or coming up from the Colts. So the Towns players probably have added fitness and the fact that they want to run the game out. But whether Mullewa can keep the pressure on for the rest of the game will be interesting to see. Towns now have the ball on half forward, and they go forward out through Peyton Mason. Gets it up towards full forward, and the Towns player stands his ground, takes a very strong mark, and Towns have the opportunity to get the first score on the Graham scoreboard this afternoon. And Towns is shooting on goal, and is that Jalen Parsons? And see how he goes. He goes his kick. In fact, it's Jaden Davis. Jaden Davis gets his first of the afternoon. He's been in the goals quite often this year. And Jaden Davis in the first couple of minutes of this first term. Thanks to Community Bank Georgia gets a score, first score on the board for the Bulldogs. Yes, thanks to Community Bank Georgia. Super coming on board for the broadcast of football, which 2024 by Radio Mama, Peter Friends and Glenn Barney, bringing you all the action of this round, the penultimate round before Country Week, then, because there is another round next week, and Country Week this year, it actually is the same time, but later as far as school holidays go. I think the dates are very, very similar, but it's just that the school holidays are a little bit earlier. Yes, that's right. So it's around the 13th or something, is it? Yeah, 12th and 13th, yeah. So an opportunity now for Towns to build on their percentage and build towards another 4 premiership points. The ball wins down from Murphy, gets it towards Rosa, and Towns have it again. Towns get the ball forward now through the player there in Mason. Gets it up towards centre wing, looking again for La Rosa. La Rosa, a big strong boy, gets the ball slapped forward, but only as far as the Mullewa defender. That Mullewa defender is held while not in possession, and Mullewa will take the free kick on the back line there. So Mullewa will have an opportunity to send the ball forward. Wayne Ryder gets it up the ground and picks out a teammate there in Greg Gelby. Greg Gelby, very talented family, gets the ball forward, looking up there for the player in Cassius Wall, but it comes back towards Towns, and Drew Forrester relieves the pressure, goes out wide. Towns go forward again. Towns is very systematic at the moment, getting the ball now to Towns player in Bo Walker. The coach gets it up towards full forward, and Towns have an opportunity to score another one, and that's James Simmons, I think, with that ball. Yes, it is. So James Simmons been playing a little bit of footy with East Fremantle in recent times as well. So James Simmons lining up the goal. He's 35 to 40 metres out, directly in front. Towns going to get their second goal in very quick succession here. So Simmons lining up the goal. James, very talented young player. There goes his kick. Looks pretty good off the boot. Fades away badly on the right-hand side. Goal umpire signals one behind. And on the grand scoreboard, it is Mullewa who are trailing. Towns have got 1-1-7 leading the way. Yes, Towns certainly have it on their rivals at the moment. Mullewa getting a bit of the ball, but 40 forward is difficult as we see Towns player tackled without the ball. Mullewa player actually holding in possession, according to the umpire. They're going through the field out to the crowd side of Mullewa, I should say, WA Country Builders Stadium here this afternoon. A 50-metre penalty has been awarded to Mullewa, which will bring them right down to the middle of the ground. The free kick has been awarded to them. See if they can do something from here. The breeze, as I've said, just affecting the northern end, the Wonthalla end, probably 2 goals at the most.
Probably just one goal looking at the wing side because they come away now through Galby. Galby into the half-forward area. Ron Farris at the back tries to fist it away. Mistimes it. The ball goes to ground. Mullewa have an opportunity here. They're in the shadows of the goals as the player runs around to try and put it onto his boot. He's tackled in possession, and a free kick will go the way of the defence for Towns. Farris is slow player, goes laterally now to the other side. Player in 6s and 7s will be to put the ball. Get it down the half-back flank to the Bulldogs. They seem to get inboard now. And the mark is taken by Bo Walker. Bo Walker playing at all ends of the ground this afternoon. Certainly knows how to play a game of football as the ball comes in now. Inside the corridor, they can set something up here at Towns. They have the ball with Lockie Moorfield. A nice kick outside the centre square. Bounces ahead of the intended target. Going away now with Dwayne Ryder from Mullewa. Ryder has 2 to beat. Always does that. Players are more worried about him than they are the ball. The ball spills free. The umpire blows the whistle. Looks like, is it young Ryder that's going to get a free kick?
That's right. It's well not him.
Yeah, he certainly was. The young Ryder off the half-back flank will have a free kick for the Saints.
Dwayne Ryder, very talented young players. There's many of them in Mullewa. They need to get some senior players back. A lot of players that were playing today stuck out on the station. Can't get in because of the weather out there at Bellardi Station. The ball comes up towards centre wing, and the wall player there in Rowan Farris, almost a good mark, but a free kick's been picked out. Go the way of a Mullewa player, now a Towns player. Towns player in Drew Forrester gets the free kick. Drew kicks it forward, he kicks the poor one, and Mullewa can regroup again. So Ryder is there again, getting lots of possessions on centre wing at the moment. And Mullewa player goes by hand, goes to Morris coming in, lacks the basical kick, goes straight to the arms of Bo Walker for Towns. He kicks it back up towards half forward. Almost a good mark for the Towns player. Good pressure put on by the Mullewa defence, and Mullewa are going to get out of trouble here. They do. They have the numbers. They have the skill. They get it up forward. Goes the way of Jaden Wall, but a player has been dealt with after he got rid of the ball. So a free kick will go the way of a Mullewa player. So lax play there by Towns. Lack of discipline. So the Mullewa player gets the free kick on the scoreboard side of WA Country Builder Stadium. And we've got Mullewa going to the northern end. Towns are going to the southern end as Rowan Farris gets it away to his hard-working runner there in Josh Lacey. He gets it up the ground, finds a teammate. That teammate puts it on his left boot. That's Jaden Davis. And a magnificent mark taken there by the Mullewa player. And a good strong mark taken there by Alan Papertalk. And Alan Papertalk would be very impressed with that effort. And the Mullewa players are playing well at the moment. They've certainly got the skill. It's whether they can hang on, whether they have the conditioning to run the game out, but they certainly can keep pace at the moment. Picked up by the big Mullewa player there in Travis Daneski. Goes the way now of Towns, and Towns out of trouble through the agency of Josh Clune. Josh Clune kicks it out towards centre wing, but once again Mullewa are there. Mullewa can use their skill and pace, gets it towards half forward. Full 60 metres from goal. Ball comes back as Mullewa shoot on goal from 50 metre. It won't make the distance, but the mark is taken by the player there in Keegan Simpson. Keegan Simpson, the deep right forward.
Yeah, tough angle here.
Yeah, Keegan Simpson. He's probably practiced a few of these. Keegan Simpson has an opportunity to get the scores very much close to level. If he can kick this goal from deep in the pocket, screws it around on a kick, but he was offline. 1 point only. And on the Graham scoreboard, Mullewa will go to 1 behind. They trail Towns 1 goal, 1-7. And we've played 10 minutes in this first term, with thanks to Community Bank Jordan, your one-stop local bank.
Ball coming out of the defence now, Rowan Farris, the custodian. Goes straight down to Forrester. Forrester takes the mark, just pulls it in, goes laterally now out to the far side, the Falls Road side of WA Country Builder Stadium here this afternoon. Player isn't good enough to judge the bounce. Goes by of his Mullewa opponent, who's sent it inboard now. Mullewa can set something up again. Towns under a bit of pressure now as they finally break the shackles. Lockie Moorfield, a nice handball in the middle of the ground, gives it to a teammate. Further gives it to a player who's put under pressure. Mullewa will come away from that passage of play. And a nice mark is taken on the half-forward flank by Cassius Wall. Wall now into the half-forward area. The mark will be timely. Almost over the back of the pack. The mark is almost taken by the player there in Anthony Little. Goes one way then the other. Ball spills free. And also an opportunity to score here, or can they? Ball going the way of the Mullewa player there and coming again. Puts it on his boot. Morris, a great kick. But a little bit wayward in the end in going through for the minor score. But at the moment, Mullewa are attacking aplenty.
On the grand scoreboard, Mullewa will go to 2 behinds. They trail Towns 1 goal, 1-7, so a 5-point margin here. Early stages of this first term, Drill O'Malley Motors game day. Round 10 for purely filtration as we see the ball come out of defence through Drew Tunbridge. He goes out towards the boundary line, looking out there for Josh Clune. Josh Clune slaps it towards the boundary line under a fair bit of pressure there from Mullewa's Jaden Wall, and the ball will go out of bounds, and it has gone out of bounds about 70 metres around from the left point post at the northern round on the other side. So a good start to the game. It's been a good start to Mullewa, so we give them credit as we see Towns go forward through Jaden Davis. He gets it up towards the centre, and once again, Towns have the ball running through the midfield through Mason. Mason goes out wide and finds Tim Bodell, who did a little bit of volunteering in the umpiring and umpired the women's game for a period until he had to come off and prepare to come on for the league game. Ball goes the way of Mullewa defence. Mullewa get it in towards the centre of the ground, looking there for Dwayne Ryder, but once again Towns go forward. Towns have an opportunity now. They have the ball in the forward 50. Towns player does well, feeds the handball out. Towns have an opportunity now, throws it on his left boot, looks pretty good off the boot. The goal umpire signals all clear, and Towns get a very nice goal there. I think it might have been Bo Walker, and Bo Walker gets another goal for the Towns Bulldogs, and a very, very good goal it was too on his left boot.
He said put it in the book straight away then, Glenn.
Yeah, they don't muck around on this scoreboard. And on the Graham scoreboard, it is Towns, 2 goals, 1-13, and Mullewa are 2 behinds.
Bo Walker, a talented player indeed, of course, a premiership player with the Northampton side, moving over to Towns in season 2024, taking on the coaching mantle. Of course, Dale Baines was the coach, now assistant coach, so a good combination there, Glenn.
Yeah, well, I think it's been very good because we know how hard that Dale has worked to get his side to this level, and I don't doubt that Bo's come in and given the club more enthusiasm and picked up a few good players such as La Rosa and people such as that around the club. But yeah, it's a combination, it's a teamwork, and Dale seems to be enjoying his time as an assistant doing his work. As we see Towns go forward very quickly once again through Payden Mason. Gets it up towards full forward. Here's another opportunity for Towns, and the Towns player runs towards goal, and a good goal there from Jalen Parsons on that occasion. So the Towns 3 goals so far. Jaden Davis has kicked 1. Bo Walker has kicked 1. And now Jalen Parsons has kicked 1. And on the Graham scoreboard, the scoreboard's starting to tick over a bit too quickly for Mullewa now. Towns are 3 goals, 1-19. And Mullewa are 2 behinds.
Yeah, it's obvious that the structure of Towns is far more superior than that of their opponents so far this afternoon, Glenn. They've had it in their forward 50 only half as many times as Mullewa, but have been able to make it fluid in their forward line and finish off with success at the goal end. So the scoreboard rolls over, as Glenn said, 3-1-19, plays 2 points. Scored brought to you by Community Bank Geraldton. We must say hello to Community Bank. They're a one-stop shop, even open on Saturday mornings, Glenn.
And they've been around for 15 years. The ball comes the way of the umpire has picked out a free kick, goes the way of the big player for Mullewa, who's their captain, and Morris Cummigan. Morris Cummigan, a very talented player, kicks it up towards half forward, looking for a teammate. But once again, the ever-reliable Rowan Farris takes a strong mark, goes across the ground, picks out a teammate, and Towns can go forward again. And through the Lacey, he gets it up towards the centre wing position where Bo Walker has the ball, just in front of the scoreboard. Bo Walker brings it back across the ground, looking now for Ben Svensson. Ben Svensson goes back in to retrieve it, flicks it out, looking for some movement from Towns. Goes the way of the Towns player who's slung out of it there, and Drew Forrester. But he gets a kick away just in the nick of time. But Mullewa player stands his ground. Mullewa takes a good mark through Carnell Riley. He gets the ball up towards centre wing. Mullewa still moving the ball forward. Goes the way of Morris Cummigan. Opportunity now, and as Peter mentioned, Towns have been able to keep Mullewa out for most part, but Mullewa have got the ball into their forward 50. Goes the way now, a Mullewa player trying to pick the ball up. He does so eventually. Throws it on his boot. Here's a opportunity for the young Mullewa player. Shoots on goal, and Mullewa get their first major of the afternoon. And a good bit of play there from the young Mullewa man. And a good start for the Mullewa side. And that's young Kip Wallace, who's kicked that goal for the Mullewa side. They get their first major of the afternoon. And on the Graham scoreboard, Towns are 3 goals, 1-19.
and Mullewa a 1-2-8. And Kip Wallace gets the first score on the board for the Saints.
Yeah, an opportunist goal there by Wallace, and hopefully it's a sign of things to come for the Saints. As we mentioned, they've had in their forward 50 far more often than their opponents, but just structure has let them down. Kip Wallace seeing the opportunity there through the eye of a needle, put through an important goal. So they are 1-2-8. They trail Towns 3-1-19. Ball back in the middle now. Later stages of the first term. Another goal here for Mullewa will make things interesting. The ball coming out of the middle. LaRosa gets it for the Bulldogs into the half-forward area quite easily. They take it down to Jalen Parsons, who's getting a lot of the ball early for Towns. Beautifully directed kick inside the corridor. He's looking for Simmons there. Simmons can't mark. The ball spills free. Players diving on top of it. Still inside the corridor. It doesn't get too far. The umpire will relieve the pressure. So Towns immediately returning the favour, getting the ball into their forward line. Going the way now of the player there who sent it forward, and he did really well on that occasion. That was Bo Walker, and he put it lace out into the half-forward area, or full-forward area, and a nice mark is taken there. So I think is it Parsons or Davis that has the ball at the moment? So we'll just have a look.
It is Jalen Parsons.
Jalen Parsons. He's been good so far, as I've mentioned. He's about 20 metres out, straight through the middle. That's a good return and a good answer from Towns after the last goal was scored by Mullewa. They've stopped them in their tracks once again, have the Bulldogs, and they've suddenly gone to 4 goals, 1-25. Handsome lead over their opponents, Mullewa 1-2-8.
17 minutes gone in this first quarter, with thanks to Community Bank Geraldton, and Jalen Parsons become the first multiple goal scorer, but his eyes are probably lighting up and he thinks he can have a big day out. He's kicked 2 now in the first 17 minutes of this quarter, so a good start to the Bulldogs, and the Mullewa crowd is here today because there was going to be a home game over in Mullewa, but it was changed late, and it's a Mullewa home game being played at Wanthella Stadium here at WA Country Builders Stadium, the home of the Towns Footy Club. So the ball to be thrown up. Umpire Bryce to throw the ball up. Darren Bryce and Brian Cohen doing the job for the GNFL this afternoon. The ball goes into the air. Ball comes to the ground. And it's picked up now by the Mullewa player in Greg Gelby. He quickly gets it up towards half forward.
Oh.
Mullewa need an opportunity, and the ball spills out the back. Can they get one? Whistle on play, and the player's been pinged for lifting the ball up. So the ball goes back towards Towns. Their free kick goes the way of Cameron Hoffhammer. Hoffhammer goes the way of Drew Forrester. Forrester gets up the ground looking there for Collette. He couldn't put a handle on it. That's Tyler Collette. Ball comes back towards LaRosa. LaRosa goes back towards Corlett, comes back now, gets a kick forward, and a good mark taken by the Towns player coming out, using his strength and taking a good solid mark there. Alex Hadley Rudolph is that player, making his league debut today, and we wish him well.
Good mark.
Ball goes the way now of another Towns player, good strong mark up forward, comes across the ground again. Towns is still keeping the possession, comes the way of Mason now. He throws it on his boot, kicks it in towards the forward pocket, and out comes the Towns player and marks. 40 metres out, centres it now, and Towns have it, and they have another opportunity to shoot on goal, and Towns have it through the agency of Arthur Garlett. Arthur Garlett with the ball has an opportunity to shoot on goal from 40 metres out on a 45-degree angle, kicking to the golf club end. Beautiful day for golf, beautiful day for anything. A nice day indeed here at Wanthella this afternoon. There goes the kick from Arthur Garlett. Beautiful kick, young Arthur, and Arthur gets a good goal for Towns. That's their 5th of the afternoon as we head towards time on in this first quarter. And on the Graham scoreboard, Towns are 5 goals, 1-31. They lead Mullewa 1-2-8. And you're on Radio Mama. We're the home of GNFL footy.
It is interesting, Glenn, in the halcyon days of the Towns Footy Club, which were quite a few years indeed. Yeah, about 20 years. Red time was very, very much their domain, and they are returning to that because Dale Baines would have known that was when they did a lot of their damage. You'd think you'd have Towns on the ropes, and then it'd get to time on, and they'd get a couple of quick, sneaky goals.
That's right, very much so. There's an opportunity there, of course. When you're fit enough and can run the game out, you can kick 3 or 4 goals in the time-on period and spread the margin pretty quickly. So Towns are going to take a good lead into the quarter-time break as umpire Bryce puts the ball into the air again. And once again, Lockley and Morphew knocks it to ground, but it's rowed beautifully by Ryder, but he couldn't put a handle on it in the end. Ball spills out, whistle on play, and a free kick's been picked out. It'll go the way of Towns. So Towns will get the free kick in the centre of the ground. Arthur Garlett, the man who kicked the last goal, with the orange boots, a very talented young man, gets the ball across the ground towards the scoreboard. Towns take it again through Collette. In fact, it was Forrester. Forrester gets it away of Farris. Farris gets it up to when it's centre half forward. Towns player soccers it forward, goes the way of the new bloke in the side in the Hadley Rudolph. And whistle on play. The umpire will come in and throw the ball up shortly. But been a good skilled game to the moment. Towns have been able to move the ball pretty freely. So they have another opportunity to get a score at their end of the ground before quarter time. Spread the margin even further. Ball comes back out. Whistle on play. Umpire Cohen has seen a free kick. This time will go towards the Mullewa defender. So Mullewa to bring the ball out to go across the ground. And a good mark taken there by Ryder. He puts it on his left boot. Comes up the ground. Finds a teammate. That teammate trips over or gets tripped over at the crucial stage. So a chance now for the Mullewa side through Brodie Swartz. Gets it up the ground, but the ball's cut off. Good mark taken there by the Towns wingman, Cameron Hoffhammer. Hoffhammer gets it back up towards full forward. There's two Mullewa players, one Towns player, but the Towns player stands his ground, plays on quickly, puts himself under pressure now, and the Mullewa players will be able to retrieve the ball from the defensive zone. So Towns overused the ball there. Towns defence come out now. Hard running player there in Ryder. Gets it up towards half forward, but Mullewa out of position. Towns clearly in good position in Andrietta. Andrietta gets the ball up towards half forward, but and a good mark taken by Bo Walker, who's marked on half forward.
Bo Walker sends it into the pocket now. Player on his lonesome takes that mark, and will now have a shot on goal, and I think it could be. Is it Mason, I think, that might have the ball? So it's on the far pocket at the golf club end, and he'll have a shot on goal. He will kick from about 40 metres when he gets onto this one. Let's see, I think it's Mason who has the ball. So Hayden Mason comes in now to kick it toward the golf club end in the dying stages of the first term. Is he going to drop short? No. Straight through the middle, I'd say, and that's another goal to Towns. And on the scoreboard here at WA Country Builder Stadium, they go to 6-1. Handy lead over Mullewa, 1-2.
So good goal there again. And who was that one, Peter?
I think it was Mason, but I'll have to double check.
Hayden Mason?
Yep.
Okay, so good effort there from Ayton Mason. Ayton Mason getting that goal, so well done. Another goal to the Bulldogs. Just looking around the grounds with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton, Lara Dalton, the member for Geraldton. The big game out at Mazzucchelli Oval today. The two top sides going at it. Chapman Valley had first use of the breeze, and Chapman Valley at quarter time, 3-1-19, lead Northampton, one behind. And of course, the other games being held just up the road here at Greenough Oval. We'll have a quarter scores, Railways and Rovers. And Railways and Rovers both desperate for a win. Both have been struggling in recent weeks. And Railways need to keep hold of a chance of playing in the 4. They need to win. Rovers looking to get their second win of the season. They've had one win to date, and that was against Mullewa. Ball back in the centre. Dying stages of this first term with thanks to Community Bank Geraldton. And Mullewa slapped the ball forward, but only as far as a Towns player. He puts his body on the line. And umpire said, yeah, you put yourself over the ball and you'll pay the penalty. So a good bit of umpiring there. That Towns player was Jalen Parsons, who got in the road. And now an opportunity from Mullewa as they go forward through Ryder. Gets it up towards the team of gold. Almost a good mark from Rowan Farris. Nothing surprises you when it comes to his marking. Goes the way of Towns. Goes the way of Andrietta. He gets it out the ground, out the other side, and goes the way of Ayton Mason. He brings the ball in towards the centre. Towns have it again through Walker. Bo Walker, the coach, gets it on his left boot, kicks it up towards half back. So Towns have an opportunity now. They get the ball in towards the centre. And once again, Mullewa putting good pressure on, but Towns player picked it up well there. Takes them on. Lucky to get away with that was Jalen Parsons. Ball comes back and a whistle on play. Umpire says no. Free kick there goes the way of Drew Forrester. Drew Forrester kicks it up towards centre wing where he finds the big man in Ben Svensson. Svensson with the ball. Centre wing just in front of the Podge Jackson grandstand. Kicks it further up the ground. Picks out a teammate. That teammate has kicked a couple of goals in Jalen Parsons. Parsons gets it up the road, but only as far as Mullewa defence. Mullewa, can they clear it? There's 2-3, but who's going to win? Mullewa do it, get it forward, and a good mark taken there by the Mullewa player, who wasn't paid the mark, so play on's the call. Comes back, the Mullewa player there I thought he thinks he had the mark. Tennessee kick it, but it must have been touched off the boot, and the ball goes out of bounds. There'll be a boundary throw-in about 50 metres around from the right point post at the golf club end of Wanthella.
So let's see what can happen here. Time ticking away. It's a long quarter, actually, Glenn. Going
a few goals scored, though.
Yeah, but a few goals scored, as you've mentioned. Ball thrown in now in the corner pocket, and just as I mentioned it, the siren sounds to announce that it's quarter time in our Drennan O'Malley game day. Thanks to Community Bank at quarter time. It is Towns 6 goals 1, 37. They lead Mullewa 1-8, and you're listening to the home of GNFL football, Radio Mama.
Now Drennan O'Malley Motors.
At Great Southern Fuels, we know fuel and we know service. We've been doing it for over 40 years. We're a family business, we employ locals and we support the communities we operate in. But don't just take it from us. Hear what our customers have to say.
They're driven by local people, they're great community contributors.
We use Great Southern Fuels because they give us a fantastic service at the right price.
You can rely on them no matter what. It's just a phone call away and the tanks are full.
Why would you go anywhere else?
Great Southern Fuels. Reliability you can trust.
For a limited time only, we've got Honda generators, free delivery until the end of this month of March only. They're super compact, reliable Japanese generators. For more information, check out our website or give us a call.
Umpiring. It is for everyone.
My name's Nick Essler. I'm the National Operations Manager for Blue Diamond Machinery. I've been with the business for 18 months. Blue Diamond Machinery, we've got a great team environment. We encourage input from all of our staff, from warehouse workers to electricians to engineers and sales team, to help us move our customers.
GNFL football, Radio Mama.
Yes, a very interesting game here, but Towns are on target to have what you would think would be a very good percentage boosting win. Quarter time of the football, round 10 of the GNFL Premiership season for purely filtration. And at quarter time, on the Graham scoreboard, Towns are 6 goals 1, 37, and Mullewa are 1 goal 2, 8. Quarter by quarter summaries, with thanks to Lara Dalton, the member for Geraldton, and the City of Greater Geraldton, and looking at what is happening in other games as well. Quarter time of the football out there at Mazzacali Oval, and Chapman Valley had first use of the breeze, and the two top sides going at it. And Chapman Valley 3 goals 1, 19, lead Northampton 1 behind, still waiting on a score to come in from the first quarter of the game between Rovers and Railways. In earlier games today, Railways won the reserves, and in other games out at Nabor, in the women's game, Chapman Valley 8 goals 2, 50, Northampton 2 goals 3, 15. And here in the women's game, Towns had a massive win. Towns 19-22, 136, defeated Mullewa 1 goal straight, 6. Peter, you're looking after the better players for the Towns side, but just quickly running through the goal scorers. Jalen Parsons has 2, and singles to Aidan Mason, Arthur Garlett, Bo Walker and Jaden Davis. And for Mullewa, Kip Wallace is their only goal scorer. Who did you like for Towns in that first quarter?
No particular order, Glenn. Farris, Morphew, Parsons, Forrester and Walker.
And looking at better players for Mullewa, Dwayne Ryder doing well off half-back. Morris Cummigan doing well. Brodie Swartz. But they're just not getting this value for effort. They had the ball in their forward 50 a couple of times and haven't been able to get the score on the board. But Towns are up and about, and Towns expected to carry on and keep putting the pressure on this second term on Radio Mama, the home of GNFL footy, with thanks to Melissa Price, the member for Durack, on Drennan O'Malley Motors game day, as a few Mullewa players have been caught out of position and going into position now. Umpires being very, very patient and giving them the opportunity to get into position. So the umpire now will throw the ball up. Umpire Darren Bryce waiting on the timekeeper to blow the siren, and we're underway. And of course, we do thank Great Southern Fuels for letting us use their beautiful broadcast truck this afternoon here at WA Country Builders Stadium. The ball comes out of the centre, goes the way of Bo Walker. He goes by hand to the hard-running player there for Towns. Comes back towards Towns. Towns have an opportunity now through the left booter, who kicks it towards goal, but the ball's cut off by the defence of Mullewa, and Percy Lawson does well. Percy Lawson gets it up the ground. Nice little pass. Comes the way of Dwayne Ryder. Dwayne Ryder comes up towards half-back, where he finds Tennessee Kickett, who's been in very good form this year for the Saints, clearly amongst Mullewa's better players most weeks. Gets it up towards Kelvin Wall. Ball gets knocked away, and Towns can regroup again. They do. They come through the centre, and they get it up towards half-forward, and we find Drew Forrester coming out of the centre now, getting a little bit of movement up forward. Centres the ball towards half-forward. Good mark taken there by Jaden Parsons.
Get a lot of the ball today, isn't he?
Jalen Parsons, yes, has an opportunity to shoot on goal again.
A name synonymous with the Towns Footy Club too,
For
Parsons.
sure. So Jalen Parsons, he's kicked 2, lining up for his goal number 3, so he could have a big day out. He's 40 metres out, directly in front, kicking to the northern end with the breeze at his back. Straight through the centre. Jalen Parsons gets his 3rd, and on the Graham scoreboard in the opening minute of this second term, it is a very big margin now. Towns is 7 goals, 1, 43. They lead the Mullewa side 1 goal to 8.
This quarter brought to you by Melissa Price, the member for Durack. Ball coming back to the middle now. So Towns getting a handle on this game early in the second term. Mullewa attacked in the early stages of the first term, but just didn't get value for effort coming into their forward 50. Much more structured. Bulldogs were able to do better when they got it into their forward line, and hence the scoreboard is well and truly in their favour. Ball coming back to the middle now. Listening on Radio Mama, the home of GNFL football. Also filming footy. I hope you're enjoying our broadcast today. So ball back in the middle now. Umpire took a while to get hold of it on this occasion. Morphew wins it again, knocks it to ground. Coming through the middle, it is Bo Walker who's knocked to ground. It goes away Mullewa now. Out of the pack it comes through Tennessee Kickett, wearing the helmet. He sends it into the half-forward area. Comes off hands, goes to ground. Mullewa have an opportunity to do something here, or do they? Defence for Towns working hard. Mullewa player almost caught in possession. The umpire says no prior opportunity. And the ball will be thrown up just right on the 50-metre mark.
Yeah, this is about the first Sunday in about 4 weeks that we've had clear skies and drier grounds. The sun is shining. Pretty nice conditions for people watching footy at the moment as we see the ball comes up the ground to Towns through Lachlan Morphew. One of the form ruckman gets it out towards Drew Forrester, comes across the ground to Mason, comes back towards Forrester. He takes them on, having a good run forward now.
Nice stuff,
gets
Forrester.
in the way of Jalen.
He's come right
Parsons.
down the ground, Glenn.
Yes, he's done this in the second quarter. He's been coming out of the centre as a ruck rover. Jalen Parsons this time took them on and went a little bit too hard, and he found himself in a bit of trouble now. So Zachariah Papertalk has the ball now, gets the ball forward. Another opportunity for Towns to regroup. Towns slaps the ball out the back, goes the way of Rowan Farris. He sees a player out behind the pack. Good mark taken there by Jaden Davis. Jaden Davis has kicked 1 goal this afternoon. and can kick another.
Great vision from Farris on that occasion.
He's 15 metres out from goal on a 45-degree angle in the deep left forward pocket, kicking to the northern end. So we've seen Towns kick a goal already in the first minute. Can they kick a second in the 3.5 minute? Yeah, they can't on this occasion. It goes out of bounds. It goes through for a minus score, I should say. And on the Graham scoreboard, Towns are 7 goals to 44. They lead Mullewa 1 goal to 8.
Have you enjoyed our Sports Shed Saturday this morning, exclusive to Radio Mama? Caught up with all of our regulars, including Alexa Pache from Channel 9. She just messaged through with a big exclamation mark. Fremantle have a win, and they certainly did have a very tight win over Sydney today, the table leaders. So that'll put them up the premiership table somewhat on the AFL ladder. So you can listen to Lex and also lots more on a Saturday morning for Sports Shed Saturday on Radio Mama. The ball going down the wing now. Mullewa endeavouring to work hard to ensure that the ball stays where it is, but the umpire bringing it back now and it will be thrown up again. Towns players interesting, playing in different positions. Rowan Farris coming into the forward line too with Forrester on that occasion, teaming up to almost score a goal. The ball coming into the forward line now for Towns. Player almost caught in possession.
Good decision there. He tried to break the tackle.
He did. He was a little bit too cute, caught in possession. The ball going the way of the Mullewa player there who gets the ball, and Cornell Riley. Riley sends it to the outer side. The mark is taken by the Towns player out there, and look, it's Forrester once again.
As we go around the grounds, with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton, Lara Dalton, the member for Geraldton. Towns going forward. Bo Walker has the ball now, and it comes up towards the centre half forward position. Mullewa will have an opportunity. Can they slap it out? Slap it out, mate, or you'll be caught in possession. Ball comes the way of another Mullewa player. This time he knocks it forward, but only as far as Arthur Garlett. Arthur Garlett shoots on goal. Ball runs through, and Arthur Garlett has kicked a very, very good point. Good effort, Arthur Garlett. Looked like pretty good off the boot, but he wasn't in line. And no, it is a goal. No,
it looked like a point, didn't it?
Well, we can see
only just one arm.
But he had 2 arms out. So Arthur Garlett has kicked the goal. I thought it bounced through. So Arthur Garlett.
He called it correctly, Glenn.
Yeah, so Arthur Garlett gets a very good goal. Good play, young Arthur. So Arthur Garlett gets another goal on the board for.
I'm glad it was a goal, Glenn, because you built it up so well.
Yeah, well, I thought it was bouncing through, but then I could only see one arm from the umpire. So Arthur Garlett gets another goal for himself. That's his second of the day, and he gets the 8th for Towns. So on the Graham scoreboard, Towns are 8 goals to 50. Mullewa are 1 goal to 8. And just repeating that score, we've just got a score in from the game being played out at Greenock Oval. And at quarter time, Railways 2 goals straight, 12. Lead Rovers 2 behind. So a 10-point margin there out there at Greenock in favour of the Blues, and a 18-point margin in favour of the Royals out there at Mazzucchelli Oval. As we see Mullewa get the ball out of defence, but not for long enough. Comes the way of Lachlan Morphew. He goes by hand, goes the way of Jaden Davis. Davis goes the way of Josh DeLacy. DeLacy gets it towards the forward pocket where he finds Cohen Mason. Mason centres the ball, and the Towns player takes a slip catch to take a very good mark under pressure. That's Mitchell Marsh. And Mitchell Marsh, 45-degree angle, 20 metres from goal. So we've seen another player miss from there recently, but he's had an opportunity to see how things are going.
He's on leave from the T20.
Yes, well, he didn't have a very long time over there, so he could be back here playing at the moment. So Mitch Marsh with the ball, puts it on his left boot. Looks pretty good off the boot. That is a very good goal, Mitchell Marsh. And he gets his first of the afternoon. And on the Graham scoreboard, Towns go to 9 goals to 56. Mullewa 1 goal to 8. And a very good goal there indeed from Mitch Marsh.
The rain has stopped in the Midwest, but the goals continue to rain here at WA Country Builders Stadium with Towns. Well, they are really making an impression on the scoreboard now. They are 9 goals to. They lead Mullewa 1-2 on a Adrenaline O'Malley game day. This quarter brought to you by Melissa Price, the member for Durack. Other games today, we've got Rovers up against Railways out at Greenock Oval, and out at Mazzucchelli Oval we have the Northern Derby, Glenn.
We do, and as I mentioned, there's an 18-point margin in favour of Chapman Valley. Had the breeze in the first quarter, and there's a 10-point margin in favour of Railways out there at Greenock Oval. So a couple of close games. This one is a bigger margin as we see La Rosa gets it away to another Towns player in Mason, gets it up towards full forward, ball running free, and the ball slapped away and goes through for a force behind. So on the Graham scoreboard, we see Towns a 9 goals 357, Mullewa a 1 goal 2-8. So the ball, once again it was, the umpire said you kicked the ball too forward, so he's going to give it a 50-metre penalty. So the ball will come right out. So the Towns player interfered with the ball coming out. So Mullewa can clear the ball now. So Mullewa have the ball coming out of defence. So Mullewa with the ball, looking to get it up the ground. So Mullewa goes across the ground, finds Zachary Papertalk, but Zachary couldn't mark it. Picked up now by Towns. Towns throw it on their left boot and offline on this occasion. And that was the Mitchell Marsh again. He didn't have the same spin on the ball as he had the last time. So another minus score on the Graham scoreboard. Townsend 9 goals 458. They lead Mullewa 1 goal 2-8. And we've played 10 minutes in this second term with thanks to Melissa Price, the member for Durack.
Ball goes to the outer side. Mullewa will still have possession. They've played a lot of the game in this half of the ground in the early stages to middle stages of the second term or second quarter. Ball coming off hands and spilling over the boundary. Glenn, great news in Geraldton this weekend with our very own Alex Dukas making the NBA cut.
That's amazing, isn't it? What a lovely story, and we do wish him and his family all the best. Very exciting news for everyone associated with sport, particularly basketball. We know how hard the family has worked and how hard Alex has worked to have that success, so it is wonderful news.
Ball coming back into the middle now. Towns have it, or do they? Mullewa players still trying to create havoc in the middle of the ground. The whistle does sound. The umpire will throw it up. The scoreboard reading 9-4, plays 1-2 in favour of the Bulldogs. Coming to the middle stages of this Dredden O'Malley game day. Thanks to Melissa Price, the member for Durack, sponsoring this particular term. The ball in the middle of the ground. Player is held, and La Rosa that is. Umpire says no prior opportunity once again, and he throws it up almost in the middle of the ground. Up they go, ball comes to ground. Come again, gets it to a teammate. Mullewa will have hold. Can they get something forward? No sorties forward until that point. The ball going into the forward line now. Nice mark is taken by Dwayne Ryder. Ryder into the half-forward area. Towns, I should say, Mullewa have something they can set up here as a player puts it onto his boot inside the corridor. They play on now. Sort of a check side kick, and there he is again. That player that scored their only goal so far tries to work at it again, and we're talking about that player in Kib Wallace. He's unsuccessful, though, going through for the minor score.
So a big weekend of footy, second last round of home and away fixtures prior to Country Week in a couple of weeks' time. So there's a game next weekend, next Saturday, and then the following weekend it is the Country Week weekend.
And it was also good to listen to Andrew Vlahoff this morning on Sportshed Saturday. He was full of praise for the Geraldton Amateur Basketball Association.
Well, you'd have to be. They were a very, very professional organisation, and they've got very good facilities now. They've worked very hard over a long period of time to get that, and that's reaping the benefit. And although you and I love our football, we can see how many inroads that the young people love their basketball, and good luck to them. And basketball certainly is competing very, very strongly for football at the moment in this part of the world and probably all over Australia.
Ball in the middle of the ground now. Mullewa will have it. To the guys of the player there in McAuliffe. McAuliffe sends it further afield, but only as far as the Mullewa defender, I should say Towns defender, comes out wide now. A nice mark is taken just in front of the Podge Jackson grandstand on this occasion, and that's Svensson. Svensson sends it inboard now. Running out to try and take the mark. He's dealt with as he does so, and that player is Mitch Marsh, but his opposite number is given the benefit of the doubt. Now for Mullewa. Switches playing to the middle of the ground, but another nice mark is taken by Payton Mason. Mason now goes laterally across to that player in Farris. Farris clinically gives it to a teammate there in the forward line who switches it inboard, and a nice mark is taken again by Arthur Garlett. Now, Garlett kicked a nice goal earlier, but he decides to give it off now to Tim Bodell. Bodell is only about 15 metres out from goal on a very slight angle, so he should nail this one toward the one-thaler end of WA Country Builders Stadium. As Glenn said, almost a cloudless sky, but as I say that, I look over toward the east, and there are a few clouds over there still, Glenn, so maybe some rain for our eastern neighbours. In comes Bodell now. He stabs at the ball, but it doesn't alter the fact that it goes straight through the middle, and that is another goal for Towns. And they are really raining goals, as I've mentioned. Towns go to 10 goals 4, leading Mullewa 1 goal 3.
Yeah, Tim Bodell, late replacement coming into the side to help his side out. He's got a bit of sore ribs at the moment, Tim Bodell, so he's getting through and helping his side out and doing a good job in getting the 10th goal of the afternoon. Towns are getting them very, very easily. They're certainly getting some much-needed percentage as they look to hang on to that 4th spot, and it'll be a very good performance if they keep going at this rate and have a very big win. It'll do their percentage no world of harm, and of course they'll get the valuable 4 premiership points as they look to take that 4th position. At the moment there seems to be a fight between them and Railways for that 4th spot.
So Railways are the ones that are sort of struggling this afternoon. They need desperately to beat Rovers, but if Towns win, they still hold on to that fourth position, one would think, percentage-wise, as this game tends to be leading that way. Ball back in the middle now. Up goes Morphews, won most of the knocks, if not all of them, this afternoon. Coming and gets it in the middle, though, for Mullewa. Puts it into a host of players. Diving on top of it on this occasion is Jaden Davis. He's unsuccessful. Ball comes out wide now. Mullewa are away through the guise of Greg Galby. Puts it onto his boot, kicks it into the half-forward area. Can they set something up here? The ball spills free just inside the forward 50, though. It is released, goes away the defender for Towns, and they're out of jail as they kick it to the outer side. And just below the scoreboard, it comes off hands and over the boundary on the Floors Road side of WA Country Builders Stadium.
Beautiful conditions for football. Pretty reasonable crowd here, although the game's being played at Towns Wanthella Oval, WA Country Builders Stadium. It's a Mullewa home game. Unfortunately, the Mullewa ground was vandalised again on Thursday evening, and disappointing. Mullewa have only had one home game up there this year, so they've had a really tough season, and they're a little bit underdone today. A number of players not available for various reasons. One of them, they can't get back across the rivers and can't get to the footy today, but they've put their best show forward. They're trying to use a lot of Colts players today. A little bit undergunned when it comes to the power of Towns, who are on the move and moving up the premiership table after a couple of very, very tough years. Goes the way of that player again for Mullewa in young Kip Wallace, trying to get the ball towards the goal line, but he's offline and the ball goes out of bounds on the full, so the ball to be brought back into play. This second term with thanks to Melissa Price, the member for Durack. 16 minutes gone in this second term. Drennan O'Malley Motors game day as the boundary umpire to put the ball back into play. It's a pretty low energy rate for many of the players at the moment. Towns are doing okay. Mullewa probably starting to feel the pressure. A lot of them have played reserves and Colts earlier today. So
they have a shot on goal here, Glenn.
So they need this one to reboot and get a bit of energy back into the contest.
Antonio Little, I think. Anthony Little.
So the ball there for Antione. So the Lizzle to shoot on goal. And he is 35 metres. So the ball will be brought back into play, and Towns have an opportunity to kick the ball right up the ground through Rowan Farris. Goes to the centre of the ground, almost a good mark to a Towns player, but Zachariah Papertalks there, gets it out, and Mullewa have an opportunity, or do they? No, Towns have the numbers and the skill, and Towns get the ball out of defence, turn it into attack. Goes the way of Parsons. He grabs the ball, takes one bounce, gets a handball forward, looking there for Cohen Mason, and back towards Parsons. He shoots on goal, and a good bit of play indeed from Jalen Parsons. And Jalen Parsons played a great part in that game. That's his 4th of the afternoon. I said in the first quarter he was setting himself for a big day. So he's going to have 4 goals before half-time. So a good bit of play. He ran hard, and that's the thing. Towns are pretty fit. They work hard. They got the ball forward, and Jalen Parsons gets his 4th of the afternoon. And on the Graham scoreboard, Towns get their 11th of the afternoon. Towns are 11-4, 70. They lead Mullewa 1 goal for 10.
Glenn, a question without notice. I'm sort of thinking Jalen Parsons has been in the best players for Towns all of their games so far this season.
Yeah, I think you'd be pretty well right. He's certainly played his part and he's kicked goals along the way. But as you saw there, he worked very hard. He doesn't just expect it to happen.
No.
He ran from centre wing, ran across the edge of the backward side of the square, then went up into the forward 50 and finished off. So, yeah, very good running. Very hard running. He's not doing it easy, and he did it well. So well done to Towns. So Towns have had a very good quarter. Towns have piled on the pressure. Towns have kicked 5 goals in this term.
And they're going forward once again. Mason puts it onto his boot into the half-forward area. Looking for the coach there, Bo Walker. He does well to get around 2 players and send it inboard. But it's Mullewa who do the better in the end as they find the sanctuary of the boundary, though. And the ball rolls over. 90 minutes gone in this, the second term. Brought to you by Melissa Price, the member for Durack. Towns have a reasonable lead. Not a reasonable lead, they have a hefty lead. As we head toward the half-time break, the ball going the way of Garlett. He fists it away. The ball going Mullewa's way to a player there that's wearing a helmet that goes forward on this occasion. And that's Tennessee kick it. But ball coming out now. Coming in, I should say, from Towns. The mark is taken inside. So I know the ball's going to go back again. So a bit of to-do happening. A free kick going the way of the Towns player, though. And that player that has the ball now will have a shot on goal. Ashen Mason. He's already scored a goal at the other end here this afternoon. So he's a pretty good goal sneaker, is Ashen Mason, along with his brother Cohen. They came over from Brigades a couple of years ago, but have been solid contributors to Towns since. Aaron Mason. Gee, I think it is solid enough, not quite. And 3 for the minor score. Puts another dot in the copybook, Glenn. Doesn't go through for the major score, so Towns open up to 11-5. And they lead Mullewa 1-4. But as the ball comes out, misdirected, goes the way now of Jaden Davis. And all in his lonesome is Parsons again. So Parsons is going for goal number 5, Glenn, I think.
He is.
So Parsons, and he should nail this one. He's only about 20 metres out on a reasonable angle. Not much breeze to speak of, but if any, will be favouring this kick toward the Wanthella end. Jaden Parsons. Yep, straight through the middle. So that's his goal number 5 before half-time. And Towns, that is their 12th goal of the afternoon, 12-5. They lead Mullewa 1-4.
Yes, that's been a very, very strong point, hasn't it? Mason being the star of his side. Jalen Parsons finishing it off well, and that's what he does well. So a very good scoreline. 67 points in favour of the Bulldogs as we head towards half-time. Still a few minutes to go in this first half as we go around the grounds with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton and look at the scores and what is happening, and looking at the score out there at Bazzakelly Oval at half-time. Chapman Valley 5 goals 3-33, lead Northampton 3 goals 3-21, so a 2-goal margin in favour of Chapman Valley. So Chapman Valley led by a couple of goals at quarter time, 3 goals at quarter time, still lead by 2 goals. So Chapman Valley had the breeze in the first quarter, Northampton had the breeze in the second quarter. So an interesting game there as Towns go forward through Drew Forrester, who plays in the midfield, and he gets the ball up the ground. And once again, Parsons there, centres the ball, finds Lachlan Morphew. Lachlan plays on quickly.
Too easy.
And a very, very easy goal, a good bit of play. And they're sharing the ball around nicely, but they can do because they aren't under a lot of pressure. Cohen Mason has marked the ball, and Cohen Mason can add to his tally and get another score on the board. So it's a one-way traffic at the moment, with the Bulldogs doing as they please here. And a good goal there from Mason, wasn't it?
Yep.
Cohen. So Cohen Mason gets his first of the afternoon. So just quickly running through the goal scorers for Towns, with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton and Lara Dalton, the member for Geraldton. Goal scorers. Jalen Parsons has 5, 2 to Arthur Garlett, singles to Jaden Davis, Bo Walker, Aiton Mason, Mitchell Marsh, Tim Bodell and Cohen Mason. So all the Masons are getting amongst it. Payton hasn't kicked a goal yet, but Aiton and Cohen have. So a good performance, a good spread of goal scorers. There's 8 different goal scorers for Towns, and Kip Wallace is the only goal scorer to this point for the Mullewa Saints.
To say it's a walk in the park is an understatement here this afternoon. Towns are doing what they will here at WA Country Builders Stadium. Mullewa trying everything to stop the Bulldogs, but on this occasion, on all occasions, it's not happening as the ball goes into the half-back line. There's Rowan Farris directing play as a quarterback. Sends it down and finds Lockie Morphew. Beautiful searching handball. Goes out wide now. This player running in is going to send a searching kick into the half-forward area. Up goes Garlick. Couldn't take the mark. The ball goes to ground. It's picked up now by Towns. They still have it inside their forward 50. Mullewa desperately trying to get it away through the guise of Wall on this occasion. Wall kicks it straight down the middle, and the mark is taken by Towns once again. They go laterally, and the ball is with the Bulldogs. Coming across the face of the goals. It's missed by Parsons on this occasion. Going the way of Forrester, almost dealt with as he kicks the ball. It won't be a relay kick because he has scored it. And it's a great goal by Forrester, but he was dealt with after he got rid of the ball. But he only had eyes for the goals, and that is another goal to Towns. And they go to 14 goals 5 on the scoreboard, and that is a massive score over Towns 1-4.
It's interesting the way they're using Drew Forrester. We know him as a full-back and a defender, but Drew in this second quarter has been running out of the centre as a ruck rover, and he doesn't look out of place, using his skills, using his pace, and as we saw there, finished off very, very strongly and becomes another goal scorer. So there's 9 separate goal scorers for Towns, and the way they're going, I'm sure everyone in Towns will probably kick a goal before the day is out. We're into the dying stages of this first half. Very good start to the quarter and the half for Towns. Towns have been able to pile on 8 goals in this term, and in the first quarter they kicked 6. So a very even performance from the Bulldogs, doing as they please here at WA Country Builders Stadium. Ball comes the way of La Rosa. He gets a handball away to Bo Walker. Bo Walker goes back to Lachlan Morphew. Lachlan Morphew kicks it towards the forward pocket, looking for Tim Bodell. Bodell centres the ball, and he's picked out Mason. And a good mark taken there by Cohen Mason. He's 40 metres out. Plays on quickly. Running towards the ball now is Jaden Davis. Davis takes them on. Runs towards goal from 20 metres. Shoots on goal, and he's offline. Out of bounds on the full. An opportunity there missed by Towns, but a good effort from the young player in Jaden Davis. As Mullewa will bring the ball out through Mitch McAuliffe. Mitch McAuliffe with the ball in the back line for the Saints. He goes across the ground, puts his teammate there under a bit of pressure, but he reads the ball well, that player. Gets it forward now. So an opportunity now for Mullewa through Greg Gelby. Gelby goes out wide, finds another teammate. So Mullewa young players moving the ball when they can, but they just don't have the numbers and the run at the moment. Goes back towards Mitch McAuliffe. McAuliffe comes across the ground, but there's the siren. Half time at the football in round 10 of the GNFL Premiership season. Doing it today for purely filtration. And on the Graham scoreboard, Towns well and truly got this game in control and under their influence. Looked like they're set for a massive win. And at half time, Towns are 14 goals 5, 89. They lead Mullewa 1 goal 4-2, 4 goals, 1 goal 4-10. So 10 plays 89, and you're on Radio Mama, the home of GNFL footy. Radio Mama, the home of GNFL footy, and we're up to round 10 of the GNFL Premiership season. For purely filtration, Glenn Barton and Peter Firenze calling all the action today, and we're coming new live from WA Country Builders Stadium. Saints home game, they're taking on Towns, and at half-time, Towns in a very commanding position. Towns are 14 goals 5, 89, they lead Mullewa 1 goal 4-10 as we go around the grounds with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton and Lara Dalton, the member for Geraldton. Half-time at the football at other games, and a pretty interesting scoreline across the board. And it is a good situation out there at Greenock Oval for Railways. Railways are 4 goals 3, 27, and Rovers are 1 goal 5, 11. So a good performance there so far. Railways doing the job. And at half-time out there at Mazzacali Oval, it is Chapman Valley 5 goals 3 to Northampton 3 goals 3. So a 12-point margin in favour of the Chapman Valley side. Looking at goal scorers for Towns as we're about to get this third quarter underway. Jalen Parsons has been the star with 5 goals, but we're underway in this third term with thanks to Drennan O'Malley Motors as Brian Cohen puts the ball into the air. And Mullewa will have an opportunity to go forward, and they quickly get the ball forward through Cassius Wall. Comes out towards another Mullewa player, and they're running forward now. Have it through Antone Little. Little gets it up towards full forward, looking up there for Morris come again. He slaps it forward, looking for the young player there, and Kip Wallace, but the ball comes out the back, and it goes the way of Drew Forrester, who is playing up forward in the last quarter, playing back in defence now. Gets it to Morphew. He gets it up towards Tim Bodell. Tim Bodell gets it up towards centre wing where he finds Bo Walker. Bo Walker puts it on his left boot. Beautiful pass. Gets it back towards Lachlan Morphew. Back towards Bo Walker. It's like a training drill here for the Bulldogs this afternoon. They've done plenty of it since the pre-season. And they have it with the way now of the player there in James Simmons. He gets it up the ground. Gets it to Arthur Garlett. Arthur Garlett kicks a poor one. And Mullewa can regroup. Mullewa will get a handball. Goes the way of McAuliffe. He gets it up the ground. And we see it go the way of Garlett. He gets it upfield, but only as far as the Towns player there in Josh Clune, who relieves the pressure for the Bulldogs.
Josh Clune just outside the centre square, sends it further afield and finds La Rosa. La Rosa inboard now. He finds the steady hands on this occasion of Peyton Mason. Mason steady as a ship in the middle of the ground. As Glenn said, a bit of a training drill. Finds Lockie Morphew now. The big ruckman. Sends it just outside the forward 50. It's marked by Forrester playing down the ground. Forrester goes inboard, and the mark is easily taken in the forward area now, and that person will have a shot on goal. And it looks like it is Jalen Parsons again, or is it Peyton Mason? I think it might be Peyton Mason. So Peyton Mason wearing 22.
That's 23, I
23. Think. So 23 is Rye Andrietta. So Rye Andrietta having a shot on goal. Looks pretty good off the boot. Comes in a little bit short, though, but the mark is taken just outside the goal square. This guy will be in a tight angle. And is it Forrester, I think?
No, it's Mason this time. No, okay. It's Parsons.
Parsons who's got it.
Number 21.
So Parsons.
Jalen.
45-degree angle. Goes the check side kick. Straight through the middle. That's goal number 6 for Jalen Parsons. The scoreboard ticks over. That is 15 goals 5. That is Towns leading Mullewa 1 goal 4.
Yeah, it didn't take Jalen Parsons long to get the first goal of the second half. So 2 minutes in this third term with thanks to Drennan O'Malley Motors. And Jalen Parsons gets his 6th of the afternoon, so he's setting himself for a big day. Ball back in the centre shortly as the players regroup. Towns doing well getting the ball out of the midfield. As we mentioned, Jalen Parsons has got 6 goals and 2 to Arthur Garlett, single to Jaden Davis, Bo Walker, also Aiden Mason, Mitchell Marsh, Tim Bodell, Cohen Mason and Drew Forrester.
And Towns extended their lead by some 50 points in that last quarter, Glenn.
Yeah, Kip Wallace has kicked the only goal for Mullewa. I'll get you, Peter, to run through the better players for Towns shortly, but we'll get the ball up and away again and goes the way of the Towns big fella, Lachlan Morphew. That's the trouble with Mullewa. They don't have a lot of big men. Zachary Papertalk does a wonderful job, but he's not a big, tall man. As La Rosa gets it forward again, and Towns are out there, and La Rosa wins the ball out of the centre. La Rosa's grabbing at his leg, hopefully.
He's got it again, Glenn.
He hasn't hurt himself, and the ball goes up, and it's Jalen Parsons who has the ball. He's 20 metres out, directly in front, shooting for goal number 7. So Jalen Parsons kicking to the golf club end. Looks pretty good off the boot. Goal umpire signals all clear. And on the Graham scoreboard, Towns go to 16 goals 5, 101. They lead Mullewa 1 goal 4-10. And this is going to be one of the big wins of the year for Towns, and a big loss coming Mullewa's way.
It'll be the reason Towns stay in the 4 in season 2020 for the first time in a couple of years. Better players, Glenn, in that second term for Towns included Parsons, Morphew, Farris, Drew Forrester, Atten and Cohen Mason.
Not making excuses for Mullewa today, but there's about 11 of their first choice players not available today for various reasons, including Kelvin Wall, who's on suspension. He got added up 3 yellow cards, so he's got a week off this week. They can hardly afford to be without him today. So looking at better players for Mullewa, they're all trying, but they're just a bit underdone because a lot of them have played reserves and Colts. But I like the way Dwayne Ryder's going about it. Morris come again, Brodie Swartz, Zach Papertalk and Greg Gelby. But they've got the work to do as we see the Towns side go forward again. A big kick there from the player there in Payden Mason. Gets it up towards the forward line. Tim Bodell, my favourite, has the ball 45 metres out on a 45-degree angle. Gets it up towards the forward pocket, looking there for some movement. But once again, the Mullewa defenders do well. They get it out of trouble. So the Mullewa have it on half back. And the veteran, Charlie Come Again, has the ball now. Goes out wide, looking there for some movement. Ball running free. Goes back towards Mullewa. Mullewa player appeared not to be held in possession, or appeared to be held in possession. Ball spills out the back, goes the way now of the player in Dwayne Ryder. But it comes back towards Towns. Towns player falls into a Mullewa player, and the ball comes back towards Mullewa. So Mullewa have it now. Can they keep it forward? There's 3-1, and Mullewa get it. They do well. Get it up towards forward, but Josh DeLacy throws himself at the ball. Josh DeLacy's caught. Umpire's given him the benefit of the doubt. Ball spills out. A Towns player slaps the ball forward there, and Alex Hadley Rudolph, and the ball comes back to LaRosa. LaRosa on half back. Kicks it up towards centre wing. Scoreboard side, Towns player had the ball in front of me and he's caught in possession. No, the umpire is going to give a free kick to Mullewa. The Towns player didn't read it that well. He didn't think he was in possession when he got caught. So it was Rye Andrietta who gave away the free kick. Ball comes forward now. Zach Papertalk has it on half forward. Zach Papertalk kicks it up towards the goal scorer in Kip Wallace. Kip Wallace is 30 metres out, deep in the pocket, the right forward pocket, kicking to the Wanthella end. Can Kip Wallace get a much-needed goal for his side? And we'll see the ball go forward. So the ball is with Kip Wallace. There goes his kick. Looks pretty good off the boot. Looks very good off the boot. Young
kick.
Kip has got another goal, so well done. And we haven't seen many goals for Mullewa, or much to cheer about, but Kip Wallace gets a much-needed goal for his side. And that was a very good kick from a pretty deep pocket. And on the Graham scoreboard, we see that Towns are 16 goals 5, 101, and Mullewa are 2 goals for 16.
Adrian O'Malley Motors bringing you the third term, the Premiership quarter. Ron, John, Rachel and all the team. For a used car, they are the place to visit, and you'll find them on Chapman Road. So Mullewa, they score their second goal of the afternoon. It takes them to 2 goals 4, trailing Towns a hefty 16 goals 5. The breeze really isn't a factor this afternoon, favouring the end to which Mullewa are kicking in this particular term. Wanthella end, probably about a goal or just more, a little bit more than that in it. All back in the middle now, umpire setting themselves. Morphew has dominated the ruck here this afternoon, but as Glenn said, not many tools in the Mullewa lineup. There he goes again, but straight down the throat on this occasion of the player there in Tennessee, Kickett. Kickett has no luck, though, going back the way of Towns. Mason has it now on a wing in front of the Podge Jackson grandstand. He beats his opposite number, sends it inboard. Inside the forward 50 it goes. He's looking for support in there from Parsons. Parsons is dealt with as he goes to ground. He isn't able to get the ball. Bit of a contest there. The ball is knocked further afield and eventually is picked up by the player in Svensson. Big Svensson doesn't kick too far. The ball goes the way of a Towns player once again. He puts it into space. Player coming out to try and take the mark. Can't do so. That's Simmons. The ball is in the Mullewa player's possession and he's receiving a free kick off the half-back flank. He kicks out into the shadows of the Podge Jackson grandstand. Up into the air goes Forrester. It's been good this afternoon. Captain Courageous sends it inboard. finds the arms there of Atten Mason. Mason goes further afield inside the corridor. Over the back of the pack, a marker's almost taken. Player thought he had marked the ball, but it spent his pennies, and the ball goes to ground, and the umpire will throw it up once again. No opportunity for anyone there. So the game is really being played at a snail-like pace here this afternoon. Mullewa really no competition for their opponents in town so far. Mason, straight down the middle of the ground, kicks for goal. Will it make the distance? I think it will. Player goes up into the air, doesn't, comes off hands and through for the minor score. So the scoreboard ticks over. That is 16-6 Mullewa, and I should say Towns, and they lead Mullewa 2-4.
Yes, a massive margin at the moment. Still a long way to go in this game. We're in this third quarter with thanks to Drennan O'Malley Motors as the ball comes out of defence, and Mullewa trying to move the ball up the ground. Mullewa player goes one-handed, lets Towns in. Towns have an opportunity now. They have the ball with Ben Svensson. He gets a handball the way of Tim Bodell. Bodell from 30 metres screws the ball around, looking towards the goals. Won't make the distance, off hands. Towns can run on and run the ball forward. Goes back towards the Towns player who cleverly keeps it in play. Goes towards the goals, but well done by the Mullewa defender there, forcing the ball through. Tennessee Kickett forced it through for a force behind. So another minor score as Mullewa regroup, get the ball on half back. So 103 plays 16 in favour of the Bulldogs. It's a Mullewa home game, but we're playing on Towns home ground this afternoon, and Towns enjoying it, and Towns having some fun as they go through their training drills, but using the Mullewa side as the witches' hats today. The ball goes the way of Towns, and Towns get the ball forward, goes the way of the Towns player there who's been good this afternoon, the Mason boys. Peyton Mason gets it forward, but Mullewa can regroup, and the kick comes back, but once again it's turned over, and Bo Walker has the ball. So Bo Walker enjoying running around. His jumper looks like it's a bit torn.
Ripped Guernsey, hasn't he?
Yeah, so I'll have to get that patched up. Ball goes the way of Towns again. They get the ball deep into towards the half forward, but Mullewa defenders slap the ball away. Goes the way of Tennessee Kickett, and Tennessee Kickett puts it on his left boot, looking up the ground, but a good mark taken once again by Rowan Farris for the Towns side. He centres the ball, gets it the way there of Cameron Hoffhammer. Hoffhammer goes across the ground and finds Tyler Corlett. Corlett in the true centre-half forward position, 50 metres from goal, kicking to the golf club end. Big kick up to the end. Nobody there for Mullewa. They both went at it. They tried to knock the ball over the back, but the ball goes through. In fact, it goes out of bounds. Goes through for a force behind, another force behind. So Mullewa doing that well. And Towns go to 16-8, 104. And Mullewa 2-4, 16.
Well, coming out of defence now for Mullewa. They're just avenues are just not there for the Saints this afternoon. Towns are thwarting them at every opportunity as the ball goes over the boundary once again on the Fords Road side underneath the big light towers here at WA Country Builders Stadium. So the umpire waiting to throw the ball back in. Good conditions for football, but the game has really petered out really early this afternoon.
As we see, the ball goes the way now of Towns. Towns have it through the agency of La Rosa. Gets it over towards Bo Walker, who shoots the ball forward, but offline on this occasion, or is he? No, hardly any reaction. They just kick another goal, and doing it so easily. It's a minor. No, it is a goal. So, gee, Towns aren't even responding too much. They give each other a clap. I guess it's coming a bit blasé.
Goal number 17, Glenn.
Yeah, so flying through, and Bo Walker gets another goal. So Bo's kicked 2 now for his side. And on the Graham scoreboard, as Peter mentioned, 17 goals, 8, 110 to the Bulldogs. And Mullewa are 2-4, 16. And this is going to be worth another win, almost another 4 points for the Towns Club, because they're going to get a lot of percentage out of this, and that will do them no world of harm when it looks at the premiership table.
The ball back in the middle. Yeah, it's going to be a massive boost to the Towns team, that's for sure. To the club, they'll have a huge percentage as they wait now as the umpire brings it back once again. This quarter will go for a while because Towns have scored quite a few goals, and ball coming out of the middle, goes away of Forrester now. Nice little handball into the half-forward areas. They run away through Garlett now. Garlett in the pink boots puts it into the half-forward area. Player trying to run onto it. DeLacy tries to go to ground, but is unlucky to get the ball. Tries to get the ball and goes to ground. Is unlucky. And there'll be a ball up just metres away. Free kick, in fact, will go the way of Towns. Towns sending it inboard, though, unopposed. Player takes the mark inside the corridor and will have a shot on goal. So the player with the ball on this occasion, I think it might be another Mason that has the ball. So Adam Mason, I think.
It is, yep.
Yep, he's going to have a shot on goal. He'll kick from about 35 metres or 40 metres when he gets onto this one. It's a nice straight kick. Hasn't got the distance, hasn't got the accuracy in the end. Goes far too far to one side and through for the minor score. So Towns go to 17 goals 10. That's almost a cricket score. And they lead Mullewa 2-4.
So a big margin in favour of the Bulldogs as the ball comes back into play from the Mullewa defence. Mullewa going straight up the ground. Big Towns player flies high there. Almost a good mark to Lachlan Morphew. Ball comes to the ground. Picked up by the player for Mullewa in Ryder. Gets to the way of the teammate. Gets it up the ground. And here's the goal scorer. Kip Wallace plays on. Kicks it up to forward. And there goes the mark. Morris come again. Can mark, and he has done.
And I'd bet he'd get this one, Glenn. He doesn't miss too many, and he's only about 25 metres out.
Yes, so Morris come again. Shooting on goal. Kicking to the Wanthella end. And the goals have been pretty sparse for the Saints this afternoon. But as Peter mentioned, Morris come again. A very, very skilled player and a very good player. Lining up for goals. And let's see how he goes. An important kick to keep his side, making the scoreboard tick over just a little bit this afternoon. There goes the kick from Morris come again. He's hit the post.
Oh,
so hit the goal post. So a full-on clash there. So on the Graham scoreboard, Mullewa will go to 2-5-17. They trail the town side 17 goals 9, 111. So the ball will be brought back in by Rowan Farris. Rowan Farris in defence, as he always is, for the town side. Kicks it straight up the ground, up towards full forward. A couple of Mullewa players went early. Advantage rule paid because it was not an appropriate attempt. Goes the way of Tim Bodell. He uses the ball quickly. Gets it up forward and gets the way of Aidan Mason, who takes a good mark. Plays on now to a teammate, does Mason. Gives it towards Garlett, who shoots on goal.
Bang.
And a good goal there from that player in Arthur Garlett. And Arthur Garlett's had a good day out as well. Arthur Garlett kicks his third of the afternoon. And on the scoreboard for Grams this afternoon, it is Towns. 18 goals, 9, 117. Doing the job on Mullewa. 2-5-17 as we go around the grounds with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton. And Lara Dalton, the member for Geraldton. 3/4 time out there at Mazzucchelli Oval. And an interesting scoreline. Chapman Valley are 7-5. Northampton are 4-3. And a very interesting scoreline there. So Chapman Valley 7-5 lead Northampton 4-3. So a good margin. Northampton will come home with the breeze out there at Mazzucchelli Oval.
Yeah, so Chapman Valley still holding sway out there at Mazzucchelli Oval this afternoon. Be interesting to get an update from Greenock Oval, where Arch Oval's Rovers and Railways are playing out there. Rovers celebrating 20 years since their 100-year anniversary. The ball going back the way of Lockie Morphew. I call him Lockie, so does his mum, so does his dad. Only his grandma and Glenn call him Lachlan.
Yes, well, that's right. We keep an eye on him. So the ball goes forward, goes the way of Towns. Towns have the ball, and Towns play it quickly forward. A whistle on play. Umpire said, bring the ball back. So Towns will have another opportunity. Aidan Mason is that player. 17.5 minutes gone.
He's racked up possessions in this term.
He has. So an opportunity for Mason to get another score on the board. It's one-way traffic pretty well. And the ball comes forward. But once again, my mate Tennessee has the ball. Tennessee Kickett, who's been good this afternoon. Wears a helmet. Uses the left boot. Pretty to watch. Gets the ball up the ground. Gets it the way of Jaden Wall. Jaden Wall comes from a great family of footballers in Mullewa, of course. Comes the way of Mullewa. They get it out to the player there in Dwayne Ryder. Comes up the ground, but the kick is well read. Rowan Farris must be the best player on everyone's team list because they keep kicking it to him, but he reads the ball so well. And it comes back towards a Towns player, runs into traffic, but goes back around now and does well. And gets a big kick forward, but a Mullewa defender stands his ground, takes a good mark. Towns lucky not to give away a penalty there, came from behind. So Towns' defence has been lock solid with Rowan Farris and Drew Forrester and players like that. But Mullewa defence, considering the pressure they're under, the Mullewa defenders have done reasonably well in very, very tough conditions. Ball comes back up towards the centre, almost a good mark to Lockie Morphew. Couldn't mark it, comes the way of Bo Walker. Bo Walker for Towns, kicks it up towards half forward, and his teammate takes a good strong mark under a fair bit of pressure. And Towns have another opportunity, and this player with the ball is James Simmons. So James having an opportunity to score a goal. He hadn't kicked a goal this afternoon. James Simmons, usually good for a couple of goals, has an opportunity now. He's about 40 metres out on a 45
playing a few Colts going threes from Anna, I believe.
He is, yeah, that's right. So he's been doing well. So James Simmons has an opportunity. A lot of these players have been playing Colts games for East Fremantle. Will play Colts for Great Northern in a couple of weeks' time. So if they don't play, if they've played more games with their home club than East Fremantle, they're allowed to play Country Week. I think that's how it works. So I'm sure that the majority of them will be available for Jason Graham's Colts side. And Jason Graham will name the Colts side this weekend after today's games, and it'll be interesting to see the squad that he comes up with. He's pretty happy with what he's got on offer. As the ball comes forward,
player dealt with,
and Towns have the ball, and they are 50 metres from goal. So the big man goes back for Towns.
Parsons, is that no?
No, Mitchell Marsh.
Marsh.
Yeah, Mitchell Marsh, who kicked a good goal up the other end, up this end. So Mitchell Marsh kicking towards the golf club end in this third term. 20 minutes gone. We're into time on now. And in this quarter, Towns have slowed the pace a little. Towns have only added 6 goals. Or, no, only added 4 goals in this term. There goes the kick. Mitchell Marsh, ball will drop short. Off hands. Mullewa need to knock the ball forward, but it comes back. But it goes the way of Towns. Towns player shoots on goal again, and this time it's a goal. And they didn't muck around. I think it might be Aidan Mason.
Yes,
Aidan Mason gets another goal.
He's having a purple patch.
So Aidan Mason gets his second goal of the afternoon.
Purple patch of a quarter.
Yes. So it is another goal to Towns. Towns have kicked some 5 goals in this term, and Mullewa have added 1. And the scoreboard, as we head towards three-quarter time in our Drennan O'Malley Motors game day on Radio Mama, the home of GNFL footy, it's a very good score to Towns. Towns are 19 goals 10, 124. They lead Mullewa 2-5-17 on the Graham scoreboard.
You're listening to Radio Mama, the home of GNFL footy. Also watching filming footy. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast this afternoon. Although a little bit one-sided, it is good to see local footy on the box, and thanks to Filming Footy for making that happen. Don't forget Radio Mama of the home of GNFL football. Ball back in the middle. Lockie Morphew was dominated today. On that occasion, his knock didn't go the way of his teammates. Goes the way of Mullewa. They kick into the half-forward area. There's a super sopper. That's what I call him, Rowan Farris. Gee, only time I've ever seen Rowan miskick the ball. Goes away now of that player in Wallace for Mullewa, but he doesn't have much support as he kicks it forward toward the goals. Going back the way now of the defender for Towns. Towns have it on the Floors Road side. Mason, who's come down the ground, done well this afternoon. There's 3 of them out there, though, so Mason ought to get a few possessions. The ball going on the far side goes the way of the coach on this occasion. And he doesn't get the ball, and that is Bo Walker. It comes off hands and spills over the boundary. So, Glenn, as we said, around the grounds, we'll get an update very, very soon. But it must be an entertaining game out there at Mazzucchelli Oval.
Yeah, three-quarter time in the big game out there. Top of the table clash. The reigning premiers, Northampton, being challenged by Chapman Valley. Northampton will have the last use of the breeze. And at three-quarter time, an interesting scoreline. And in favour of Chapman Valley. And Chapman Valley 7 goals 5, and Northampton are 4 goals 3. So a really tight contest out there at Mazzucchelli Oval. Ball comes back towards the Mullewa forward line. Can they get a score late in this third quarter? Goes way of Morris come again. Morris come again, uses his reach and his skill. Takes a good strong mark in front of the Towns defender there. And well done to the player there in Morris come again. So Morris come again. He kicked the point last time. He hit the goal post about 3/4 of the way up. This time he's on the other side, shooting on goal. He's only 15 metres out, so wouldn't have much problem. One would think he'll certainly make the distance, it's the accuracy, but he's a very good player, as I mentioned last time. There goes the kick from Morris come again. Yep. He's got the kicking boots on this time. He gets his first of the afternoon, and a very important goal to the Mullewa morale. Mullewa go to 3 goals 5, 23. They trail Towns 19 goals 10, 124.
23 minutes gone in this, the third quarter, brought to you by Drennan O'Malley Motors. Hello to John, Ron, Rachel and all the team at Drennan O'Malley in Chapman Road. Be big supporters of the broadcast of football and Radio Mama for a very, very long time, and we thank Ron, John, Rachel for their support, and also best wishes also to John Moore, Glenn, that's sitting up after an operation down there in Perth.
Yeah, all the best to John. He's doing well, and he's on the mend, and hopefully he'll be back in town very, very shortly. So good to see everything's going in the right direction in his recovery.
Ball back in the middle now, and the last goal scored by Mullewa. It's been few and far between for the Saints this afternoon. A sun-drenched oval here at WA Country Builders Stadium at Wonthella. The ball going forward now. Lachlan Morphy wins it again. Knocks it into space. Mason has it, or does he? The free kick has gone the way of the Mullewa player there. Off the half-back line, he does well. Finds the intended target, but the target didn't like it. The ball bounced off his chest, goes to ground, goes back the way of the player there for Towns in Corlett. Corlett further afield finds a player there in Tim Bodell. Tim Bodell wasn't expected to play this afternoon, but has been a bit player in this big win that it's going to be for Towns. He puts it into the half-forward area. The long, strong reach of that player goes up and takes a timely mark. So now they have a shot on goal, and I think that player is, let's have a look, is it Blake LaRosa? I can't see, he's further down the field, but he now will have a shot on goal. So coming in to have a shot on goal, is it Jaden Davis? Maybe Jaden Davis. So Jaden Davis kicking toward the
Jaden Davis
golf club end. He's on a tight angle though. Looks pretty good off the boot.
Good kick.
It's a very straight kick, but went across the face of goal. The umpire was watching it, and it comes off hands and through for the minor score, I think. Yes, it does. The siren does sound. That indicates that it's three-quarter time, and it is a big lead that Towns do have in our Drennan O'Malley game day here on Radio Mama. It is at Towns at 19-11, 125. They leave Mullewa 3-5, 23. And you're listening to Radio Mama, the home of GNFL football.
Good afternoon, Glenn Barnett and Peter Frenzel on Drill O'Malley Motors Game Day. And we are on Radio Mama, the home of GNFL footy, coming live from WA Country Builders Stadium today, as we will next week, because we've got a big game here next weekend, and Towns will find the going a little bit tougher next week because Towns take on Brigades, and that'll be a very interesting contest indeed. Other games next weekend, Northampton play Rovers. That game's at Percher International Oval. Northampton will start clear favourites in that game. And the other big contest is up at Red Dust Holdings Recreation Ground. Railways playing Mullewa. That's what's happening.
Interesting this morning on Sportshed Saturday as part of your program, Glenn, which is Community Bank Footy Forum. Corey Foote, the coach of Brigades, was mentioning that they've played 8 straight games in a row.
So they were ready for a bit of a break, and now they have about 3 breaks, for the rest of
the momentum in trouble, aren't they?
So it's interesting because I think Chapman Valley, they too have had 1 break already. They'll have another break next weekend. So they've had 2 breaks in the opening 11 rounds. So it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. I guess it evens out in the end. Everyone gets the same breaks. It's just, as you say, momentum is very important. Once you get the momentum, you get the run. Let's go around the grounds with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton. Lara Dalton, member for Geraldton, looking at other grounds today. And at 3/4 time, it is Railways on target to get another win. Railways are 8 goals, 3-51. Rovers are 2 goals, 7-19. So Railways on target to pick up the premiership points. And Rovers are not going to get a win today. It would not appear at the moment. And the other game, as I mentioned, 3/4 time out there at Mazzucchelli Oval. Chapman Valley 7-5 lead Northampton 4-3. And Chapman Valley have used the breeze for the last time. So Northampton will come home with the breeze. And we've seen Northampton come home strongly in other games this season and win games. And here at 3/4 time in our broadcast game, with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton, Lara Dalton and Grams, we can tell you that Towns are 19-11, 125 to Mullewa, 3 goals, 5-23. Goal scorers, Jalen Parsons has 7. We have 3 goals to Arthur Garlett, 2 goals to Bo Walker, 2 goals to Aiton Mason, singles to Jaden Davis. Bo Walker I've already mentioned. Mitchell Marsh has 1. Tim Bodell has 1. Cohen Mason has 1. Drew Forrester has 1. And Kip Wallace has 2 for Mullewa. Morris Cummigan has 1 for Mullewa. And our contenders for the Skeeters Restaurant Player of the Day, Peter, who have you like from Towns in the first 3 quarters?
Well, I'll just give it down to 3 now, Glenn. Morphew, Parsons and Farris.
And for the Mullewa side, Dwayne Ryder, Morris Cummigan, Brodie Swartz, Zach Papertalk, Greg Gelby and Tennessee Kickett. We're underway in this final term with thanks to G.G. Russell Chartered Accountants as umpire Bryce gets the ball up in the air and it comes the way of Kickett. He gets it away to a hard-running player there who's been really good today, and Dwayne Ryder trying very hard. Dwayne Ryder under pressure, goes back in, comes back towards the Towns players, and Towns can get it out, and they do. Towns have it now. They go out wide, and they have it through Bo Walker. And James Simmons got it up the ground, got it to him. So the ball now with Walker, puts it on his left boot, kicks it up towards half forward, and good mark taken by Drew Forrester, who runs up forward when they have the breeze at their back. Goes the way of Lockie Morphew. He gets a handball forward, and once again a big goal to Towns, and a Towns player gets a margin there. I'm not too sure who that player is, and we'll find out who he is. But a good goal to that player, and Towns keep going on their merry way.
Yes, a nice goal there to Towns, and really that has been the story of the day here this afternoon. They go to 20 goals, 11. They lead their opponents 3 goals, 5. Tomorrow, Glenn, friends, on Sunday, we catch up with the Chapman Valley president, who isn't at Chapman Valley today. He's actually in the middle of Japan, and we're talking about Grant Woodhams, catching up with him tomorrow. And also, have you heard of Ben Harvey? Well, if you haven't, Ben Harvey writes some entertaining columns for the West Australian and the Sunday Times. He has some entertaining columns about his dog on a regular basis, but he'll be joining us tomorrow too for a bit of a chat.
Okay, so it'll be very entertaining indeed. So another opportunity to join Fiorenza on Sunday. The ball comes the way of Lachlan Morphew, who's having a birthday. But he's been pretty good against a bigger ruckman than this throughout the year, so he's in good form.
Yeah, he's in good form.
Shows the way of the player there in Mitchell McAuliffe, who sends the ball back. But Towns have another opportunity to regroup and get the ball forward. And it comes the way of the player there in Tim Bodell. Tim Bodell gets his kick up towards a teammate, and a good mark taken on this occasion. The player in Jaden Davis. Davis just outside of 50, goes up towards the 45 metre area, and a good mark taken by Rowan Farris. So the Towns defenders in this situation keen to run forward and give a little bit of opportunity up in attack. So Rowan Farris, not noted for kicking many goals, has an opportunity to kick his first of the afternoon and join the long list. That's a good kick.
Yep.
And there he goes. He's got a good goal, has Rowan Farris, the defender, and another goal on the scoreboard for Towns. Towns have kicked 2 goals in the opening 2 minutes. And on the Graham scoreboard, Towns at 21-11, 137. And Mullewa are 3 goals, 5-20.
When Rowan Farris first came to town, Glenn, some 10, 12 years ago, I think now, he's been here a while. It only seems like yesterday, but he had played well-known for his playing another sport rather than football, and that was volleyball, and he was very, very good at it, and but very, very fit indeed and had a good eye for the ball, but he couldn't kick it that well. So what he used to do, he just made sure that he ran as close to the goals as possible before he kicked one.
Yes. Well, he didn't have any trouble, did he? From 45 metres there, bang, straight through the centre. So a very good goal, way. And he's been a marvellous pickup for the Towns Footy Club, and been one of their very good players over a long period of time.
Yes, he come from the Halcyon days. He's a conduit between the Halcyon days and the modern Towns lineup, who is starting to get some traction in season 2025. The ball on the far side goes into the forward line once again, and there'll be another shot on goal. So Towns, as we've heard, the term training drill being bandied around a couple of times today, more than once or twice. It certainly is that. And now Jaden Davis is going to have a shot on goal. So Jaden Davis, he's only going to be about 20 metres out, 25 metres out at the most when he gets onto this. He's been lined up by the umpire, kicking toward the Wanthella end. We're just above him here in our great vantage point, Glenn. So thanks to Southern Fuels, we can actually get a great vista of what's happening on WA Country Builders Stadium this afternoon. So in he comes now. That's Jaden Davis. It is a bit of a snap or a bit of a poke, but it is straight through the middle once again, and Towns add to their massive tally, one of the biggest tallies in the last 4 or 5 years, I'd say, Glenn. 22-11, and they lead Mullewa 3-5.
And who was the goal scorer?
It was Jaden Davis.
Jaden Davis,
yes. number 2.
Very good. So Jaden Davis gets his second of the afternoon. I think we'll set number 24 as Connor Lewis. We're not too sure. He's in the player HQ as William Thorne. That is not William Thorne. So we'll go Connor Lewis. So Connor Lewis will do. So we'll look at the scoreboard. 22 goals, 11, 143 to Mullewa. 3 goals, 5, 23. It's going to be a very long quarter for the Mullewa players, but Towns will be enjoying it, getting themselves into a bit of form for next weekend's big game against Brigades. And, of course, we'll be here calling all the action again. But it'll be a very tight contest because both Towns and Brigades fighting to get further up the premiership table and secure their spot in the top 4.
Ball coming into the forward line now. Up they go. Davis again gets mitts to it but doesn't take the mark. The ball spills free. Getting it out to defence pretty quickly. Mullewa goes over the head of that defender, going to ground, and it's LaRosa that moves in. The long-haired LaRosa tries to soccer it forward, but is curtailed in his efforts. A free kick has been found to go the way of the defender. So Mullewa have the ball now. They are under siege somewhat, and the ball's with Jaden Wall. Goes below our broadcast position and finds the chest of the player there, Mitchell McAuliffe. McAuliffe now on the broadcast side. Sends it down in front of the Ponce Jackson grandstand. Isn't the best of kicks, comes off hands. Mullewa will still have possession though. They go further afield into the half-forward area. Hasn't been here for a very long time for the Saints, and Towns ensure that it doesn't stay there too long as the defenders get the ball. Ball goes back the way of Farris, racking up kicks this afternoon, comes laterally across the ground, into space now, running onto it. Towns, they can set something up as they go into an area of the ground where there are not too many players but Botel. Botel gets the ball, sends it into the half-forward area. Very easy here as the ball goes the way of player there in Jalen Parsons. Gets it to Davis. Davis loses possessions, playing around with it. They kick it up into the air. Mark is not taken, or is it? It's slapped down to the Mullewa player. Mark's a fortune now. Player's starting to get a little bit tired with the style of play, but eventually the player says, I've had enough of that, and that player there to do so was Bo Walker. And he says, I'll put that through. And the ball go back to the middle again. So Bo Walker scores the 23rd goal of the afternoon. Bo himself, I think, has got 2 or 3.
He has.
23-11, Glenn, 3-5.
Bo's got 2.
Yeah, Bo's got 2.
So who kicked that one, Peter?
Bo Walker.
Oh, so he's got 3 now, sorry. Yep. So 3 goals, as you mentioned. So a good start to Towns. Towns piling on the pressure. Another 4 goals in this quarter, so it's been a one-way street.
I hate to say this, but you were playing Fortnite on your phone, weren't you?
I was. No, I was looking at Player HQ. If I knew how to play it, I would say yes, Peter, but no, I don't know how to play it.
That's how entertaining this game is this afternoon.
That's right, yeah. Glenn's learned how to play Fortnite. No, I wouldn't be any good at it, but I would like to learn it. But, yeah, I could fill in a bit of time with it. But I was looking at Player HQ and trying to find out who number 24 was, but it wouldn't tell me.
Yeah, big win to Railways. It's going to be 8-3 to 1-7 out there at Greenock Oval.
Yeah, so a big win to Railways. They keep their finals hopes alive, well and truly. Railways next weekend play Mullewa, so they'll start clear favourites in that game. So it's important that Towns keep winning, and Towns have got a big game next week against Brigades, because if Towns and Brigades...
That'll test them, though, because, Glenn, if they are to advance, they need to take it up to teams like Brigades.
That's right, and Brigades, we know, are a very good side. They'll be freshened up from what has been a pretty tough, 8 weeks till they got to this point. So they'll be freshened up, and they'll be looking forward to taking on Towns. But Towns, likewise, they would like to be challenged and like to have an opportunity to prove themselves against a good side, and Brigades are that. So an opportunity as we see another goal from number 24. Yes, I think.
Yeah, it is him.
Yeah, they just go straight back to the centre. They don't even get excited, do they? So we'll go Connor Lewis. And Connor Lewis gets his second this quarter, so he's playing well. And another goal for the Bulldogs. It goes around and round. Towns continue to add to their score. They've had 5 goals in this quarter already, and Connor Lewis has kicked a couple of them, and the scoreboard rolls on. And it is Towns 24-11, 155 on the Graham scoreboard. Mullewa 3 goals, 5-23. So Towns running the game out, and Mullewa, they're just glad that the game is nearly ended, because they've still got 10 minutes of more to play, but they are very tired. A lot of the Colts boys are playing again. A lot of the senior reserves boys are playing again. And as I mentioned, about 11 players in their first pick 22, not available today for various reasons. And that makes it pretty hard for the coach, and it makes it pretty hard for the players. The ball comes back into play, and Towns said, let's show you how it's done. And Towns quickly win the ball out of the 50-metre line, kick it forward, and ball goes out of bounds. There'll be a boundary throw-in deep in the right forward pocket at the Wanthella end here at WA Country Builders Stadium.
Lawson sees it over the wide line, about to be thrown in deep attack, as Glenn mentioned, for the Bulldogs. They're going to have a huge win here this afternoon. Be a long time since, a few years since they've done that, especially at home as well. Ball into space, Mullewa defenders all at sea. Player all on his lonesome, tries to get rid of it, and is caught in possession, one would think, but the umpire's giving him the benefit of the doubt. No, he's caught in possession, goes away of Towns now. Mark is taken by Bo Walker. So he's going to have a shot on goal. And he's looking into the sun, but it hasn't stopped him to this point, Glenn. So it's going for goal number 4 is the coach. And he unselfishly gives it off and finds the chest of the player there to have a shot on goal, and that is Rudolph, Alex Hadley Rudolph.
Playing his first league game today, coming up from the reserves, so good to see him having a bit of fun.
Yeah, and he's going to kick from about 25 metres when he gets onto this, even closer. So he stabs at it, but it's straight. No,
Point.
It's not. It's gone through for the minus score. So another blotch on the copybook for Towns. There haven't been many of them when you take into consideration their massive score. They go to 24-12, and they lead Mullewa 3-5.
As we go around the grounds with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton, Lara Dalton, the member for Geraldton, as the ball goes out of bounds, and is out of bounds, no, just touched off hands. The ball will be thrown back in. And 3 got a time out there at Greenock Oval, and Railways 8 goals, 3-51. Lead Rovers 2 goals, 7-19. So Railways appear on target to take the 4 premiership points and take the win and keep their pressure on holding.
Not many goals scored out there, though.
No, very low scoring game, isn't it? Very low scoring game, as it is out there at Mazzucchelli Oval. Pretty low scoring game there too. we're at three-quarter time.
We've made up for it here.
Yes, as we go around the grounds and full time out there at Mazzucchelli Oval, Chapman Valley have won the game. Chapman Valley are 9-5 lead and have defeated Northampton 6-4. So Chapman Valley have held a 3-goal margin throughout the day, and Chapman Valley have led that 3-goal margin, and they led by a couple of goals at half-time. But Chapman Valley have won the game, so a marvellous win. It'll be a while since Chapman Valley have beaten Northampton. Chapman Valley 9-5 have defeated Northampton 6-4 in the big game out there at Mazzucchelli.
Have they played everyone so far, Chapman Valley?
They have now, yes.
Yeah, so they've beaten everyone in the competition.
And remain undefeated and 3 games clear on top.
Yeah, it's impressive stuff. The ball going forward now for Mullewa. It's a cut off again. Ball on the wing, picked up by the player there in Clune. He sends it inboard, and Towns go further afield. Being able to work on their drills here this afternoon. Outside the forward 50, coming inboard. Rudolph's there again, doesn't take the mark on this occasion, goes away. A player there who shoots off the side of his boot. That wasn't a bad shot in the end. That was that player 24 again, Glenn, but on this occasion only going through. No, he went through for the major, I think. Yep, it did. So that's another goal to Towns, and they are certainly racking up a percentage here this afternoon.
We'll call it Connor Lewis.
Yep, that's him.
Connor Lewis gets his 3rd goal of the afternoon. So as you say, it's been a pretty good performance. And I'm sure the coach is pretty happy with their work rate. We've seen them add to their tally. They had a 6-goal first quarter. They had an 8-goal second quarter, a 5-goal third quarter. And at the moment, they have had a 6-goal last quarter. So pretty even performance across the board so far. As we see the ball returning to the centre. And probably Mullewa would like to hide the football and give the game away. But the game, there's no mercy rule here. 14 minutes played in this final term, with thanks to GT Russell Chartered Accountants. And, of course, the financial year comes to an end. And GT Russell Chartered Accountants, Grant Russell, will be very, very busy from here on, with lots of people wanting to get their tax return to get some cash back to pay a few bills.
The ball on the far side, though. Mullewa, some players still not giving it up, still working hard. They're being thwarted in most of their attempts, and they're sorties forward. Over the back, though, now they get a loose ball. Can they make something out of nothing? The defence for Towns is resolute, though. They still withstand the barrage, or a slight barrage from Mullewa. The ball on the wing now. Corlett, I think, sends it in. Looking into the sun. Comes to ground now. Forrester dives on top of the ball. So too does his opponent. Brings him to ground, and he's caught in possession. So the ball is now with the little speedster in Jaden Wall. Wall goes around Mason on this occasion. Pretty cute in the end. Was it too cute? No, it wasn't. It was effective. Goes outside the centre square. The mark is taken. Comes inboard now. Things have really slowed down if they weren't slow enough. Ball going the way of Greg Galby. Galby crosses front of goals, and this player in Kip Wallace he's been okay this afternoon. He stood up in adversity for Mullewa. He kicks it into the half-forward area. Can they get it through for a score? It's not a goal, but it goes through for the minor score, and that adds another point to their score, and Mullewa will go to 3-6. Trailing Towns, yes, 25-12.
Yes, a big win coming Towns' way, and probably one of the biggest wins of the year to this point.
Yep.
There have been some big wins against Mullewa previously. Northampton beat Mullewa by 119 points, so that's going to be beaten today. So this is going to be the biggest win for anyone in the competition so far this year. So in turn, it'll be Mullewa's biggest loss of the year, and very disappointing for the Mullewa club. They're going pretty well in the Coles, and they had a win in the reserves today, but their women and their A-grade side, their league side, struggling a bit to get the traction this afternoon. As we see, Mullewa will go forward through Greg Gelby, a short pass, and Towns fighting hard to keep the ball away from Mullewa's end. In goes the player there in Tennessee, kick it. Ball comes out again, goes back to Tennessee, takes them on. Get rid of it, young man. Bit unlucky, Tennessee. I've liked the way he's played his game this afternoon. He's tried really hard. And the ball comes back to Towns. Towns get it up the ground. Find Lachlan Morphew.
A name like Tennessee Kick It, he might get a gig at the Chapman Valley Music Festival.
That's right. He gets it across the ground as Lockie gets it away of Arthur Garlett. Garlett gets it up the ground to the hard-running player and Jaden Davis. Davis says that's the way to do it. And Jaden Davis gets another score on the board for Towns. He gets his third of the afternoon, so they're racking up goals now, racking up kicks. And 17 minutes gone in this final term with thanks to G.T. Russell Chartered Accountants. And on the Graham scoreboard, Towns at 26 goals 12, 168. To Mullewa, 3 goals 6, 24. And as the ball goes back to the centre, let's have a Radio Mama live look at our premiership table after round 10 of the GNFL premiership season. So Chapman Valley remain on top with 32 premiership points and 8 wins in succession. Northampton remain in second spot with 20 points and 5 wins. In third spot, we have Brigades on 20 and 5 wins. We have Towns in fourth spot with 20 points and 5 wins. Outside the 4, Railways are in fifth spot with 16 points and 4 wins. Rovers are in sixth spot with 1 win and 4 points. And Mullewa yet to open their account. So a very tough start to the year for the Mullewa Saints, as we can see on the scoreboard now as we head into time on in this last quarter.
Yeah, the ball is with Brodie Schwartz in the middle of the ground. He releases it further afield, finds a teammate equal to the task. Mullewa will get it further down the ground. Now, this is probably an opportunity, but not possibly a real one, because they struggled to get it down the ground so far today, but they're going to have a shot on goal. And see what they can do now. Kicking toward the golf club end, a short pass. A few players come out to try and take the mark. Comes off the hands of Mullewa, but the Towns mop up. That is the defenders. We're down the way of Corlett now for the Bulldogs, but an ill-directed handball sends it inboard and only goes as far as the Saints player who dives on top of it. But at the bottom of the pack, it's picked up by Towns now into the half-forward area. Rudolph goes up, can't take the mark. The ball goes to ground. Lockie Morphew's there too. He is unlucky. They keep the ball in their keeping though. Mullewa struggle to get it out of a host of players. A bit of a pack develops. The umpire moves in to relieve the pressure. It is 26-12, 108. That is Mullewa leading Towns 3-6-24.
Towns will be looking forward to the challenge next weekend when they take on Brigades. It'll be a really interesting game. Towns are sitting in fourth spot. Brigades are sitting in third spot, both sitting on 20 premiership points with 5 wins apiece. And, of course, it's an important game because Railways next weekend play Mullewa, and Railways would be red set hot favourites to win that game at Red Dust Holdings. So it's important that the race is on still for the fourth spot between Brigades, Towns and Railways. But Brigades and Towns can be a little bit looking after their own destiny if they have a win next weekend. Whoever wins, a very important game, that one. So looking forward to bringing you all the action with thanks to Drennan O'Malley Motors Game Day on Radio Mama, the home of GNFL footy. And, of course, it's good to see that it's going to be a very good contest in one of the big matches of the day next weekend. Round 11 next weekend is for Nexus Airline, one of the major sponsors for the GNFL.
Get on board Nexus if you can.
And, of course, they're getting on board and helping the GNFL with Country Week Nexus Airlines. And next weekend, the games are Northampton playing Rovers at Percher International Oval. Northampton will be favourites in that game. Railways play Mullewa at Red Dust Holdings Recreation Ground. And Railways will be favourites in that game. But you'd have to say Towns and Brigades will be a real even contest. That'll be our big game as we see Tim Bodell soccering the ball through. And Tim Bodell makes it look pretty easy. And Tim Bodell gets another goal for the Bulldogs. And Tim Bodell gets his second of the afternoon. And on the Graham scoreboard, as we head into time on, a massive win to Towns, the biggest win of the year by margin. This will be, it's 150 points at the moment. And Towns 27-12, 174 to Mullewa, 3 goals, 6-24. Very, very sad and disappointing for Mullewa this afternoon.
And Glenn, talking about Nexus Airlines, and I could be corrected here, but I think I'm well and truly on the money that Nexus Airlines' route from Perth to Geraldton is currently the most profitable.
Oh, well, that's good, because I do know everyone that I've spoken to has enjoyed it. My wife came back with Nexus last weekend and she was raving about the service and how things were worked. So, yeah, I think they are doing well.
Local crew too.
Well, they live here, of course. They live here, they work here. And, yeah, let's hope they can continue to do well. It's great to have a little bit of competition in the market, isn't it?
Ball out in the middle, Mullewa, not giving up, but not getting too far this afternoon. Towns are going to run out. Massive winners here at WA Country Builders Stadium this afternoon. big shadows of the Podge Jackson grandstand stand tall for the Bulldogs today as the ball comes further afield down the ground, looking for the player there in Simmons. He can't take the mark. The ball spills free. There's Bodell again, the last goal scorer. Judges a bounce well, sends it inboard. Rudolph has it, goes over his head. Mullewa defender. There's 2 to beat. He does beat them. He gives it to a teammate who goes straight down the corridor now. It's going to drop just short of the centre square, and a mark is taken by Towns Corlett, I think it is. So Corlett now will send it back inboard over the back of a couple of players. Goes away now. The player who shoots on goal, the player is Parsons. He's unlucky. Ball goes straight up into the air, but then there is another shot by the player there in Atten Mason, who's had a real purple half of a game. He's done well. He's done well all game, actually, but he's got really collected kicks and goals in the second half, and Atten Mason scores again for Towns.
Yes, and Atten Mason gets his 3rd goal of the afternoon. So it's going to be a very big score as we see a couple of Towns players coming off for a spell. Bo Walker and also that player that just kicked the goal. Atten Mason coming off for a spell, and young Arthur Garlett goes back on. So too does Peyton Mason. So Towns 2 off and 2 on, and they've enjoyed today. But like I said, I'm really looking forward to seeing next week's game. Towns will be put under pressure, and you know, Towns going through the motions pretty well today. But good luck to them. They've done all they had to do, and they have done the job well and have been very, very consistent over the 4 quarters. So a good performance from Towns as they stretch their lead. Towns lead 180 to 24. So this is by clearly the biggest win of the year in the competition against Mullewa, who had the last margin was 119 when they played Northampton. But this is by far the biggest margin. So a good effort from Towns this afternoon.
And tonight the Geraldton Buccaneers take on Lakeside, so they are only still had the 1 loss in season 2024, Glenn. They'll be spurred on by the pickup in the NBA draft of our very own Alex Dukas.
Yeah, so how many rounds are left, you know, Peter?
I'm not quite sure. Bernie might know better. He sits to my right here this afternoon, or left. I don't know my left from my right, but he'll check it out for us. Bernie, give you one job. The ball going to the far side now of one.
The basketball season seems to have gone by very quickly.
It has, but it did start a lot earlier than the football season,
yes,
that's for sure. The ball coming in just outside the forward 50. Mullewa, some Mullewa defenders not giving up this afternoon as we see Rowan Farris send it inboard looking for Rudolph. Rudolph can't collect the ball, goes away now. Oh, the play there in Parsons, but he gets it straight to the Mullewa defender who puts it straight onto his boot. Bit of a rainmaker up into the air, and it's marked outside the forward 50. There he is, Rowan Farris, wearing the long boots, the long socks, I should say. Bodell over the back. Jeez, very cheekily looks around and puts it straight through the middle. But when you see Rowan Farris come down the ground, it's like, where's Wally with those socks on, isn't it?
It is, yes. So has them pretty high. Not many players do. Not a lot of players wear those socks that you don't know they've got socks on anymore, but yeah, he has his up a little, and you can see the red and white stripes of the Towns club. And a goal to Tim Bodell. So Tim Bodell come in as a late replacement.
Is that goal number 3 for Tim?
3 for Tim. So looking at the score for Grams this afternoon, dying stages of a very lacklustre game from the Mullewa Footy Club, but a good game from Towns. Towns 29 goals, 12, 186. Massive winners over Mullewa, 3 goals, 6-24. And other winners this afternoon, Chapman Valley got over the top of the Northampton side. Chapman Valley 9 goals, 5, defeated Northampton 6 goals, 4. And the last score we had was still the game out at Greenock, running a little bit later than our game. And Railways at three-quarter time, 8-3-51. Leading Rovers 2-7-19.
Ball coming out of the middle again for Towns. They're going to have a huge win here this afternoon. One of their biggest on record, one would think. 29-12, plays 3-6. Ball on the far side. It's with Marsh now. He sends it inboard and finds Garlett. Garlett takes a nice mark. Inside the forward 50. Looking into the sun though. He sends it inboard looking for Atten Mason. That player isn't equal to the task. The ball spills free. As well, have a couple of players there, and one of those is Svensson. Svensson handballs it into the air. Teammate gets it, puts it into space, and it's Bodell again. Can he go goal number 4? He hasn't got much to beat. He sends it inside the corridor, over the back. Parsons is there, so too Rudolph. None of them want to put it onto their boot. Goes back the way of Simmons. He too is throwing away like a hot potato. You get it again. It's brought to ground. Mullewa are making something out of nothing here as we get a bit of help from my good mate in Bernie Gorringe, and 5 games, 4 weeks left in the NBL 1 season, Glenn.
Okay, so coming to the pointy end. Oh, the Mullewa player took Tim Bodell out there, and that was a bit rude and a bit crude. But as I say, they line up to give old Tim a bit of a wicket, and another.
He's going to have another shot goal.
So Tim Bodell, he's found the boundary line.
I reckon he'll get this.
He could
quite easily around the player.
He's only
player on the
20 metres out. In the left forward pocket, screws the ball around the corner.
Bang,
Tim Bodell gets another one, so that's goal number 4, as you say, Pete. And a good goal there to Tim Bodell. And another minor score, so you don't see many sides kick 30 goals in a game. Used to see it a lot, but you don't see it much these days. And Towns have got the score on the board this afternoon and got a massive percentage, and that's very, very handy them because they're trying to keep Railway to the top 4 and percentage.
And if it comes down a percentage, look after them, won't
well, it'll be almost like a game because it's going to be massive. Looking at the scoreline for Gams, it is Towns 30 goals 12, 192 to Mullewa, 3 goals 24. A massive win to the Bulldogs. A home track, although it is a home game, Mullewa. Unfortunately, the Mullewa ground was vandalised with a car going on the ground on Thursday and doing donuts, which made a mess. And talking to club president Mick Worley said it's far worse than the last time the game was moved, and he's hoping the ground will be ready for the next home game. So let's hope people stay out of damaging it in the future and the ground can get back. There's only been one home game up at Mullewa this season. As Towns go forward again. Goes the way of Arthur Garlett. Arthur Garlett from the backward side of the square. Kicks it forward. The Mullewa player tries to knock it over the back. Ball running free. The Mullewa player would be best to try and knock it through. Towns player knocks it back out between his legs. Goes the way of the Towns player there, and Alex Hadley Rudolph. And Alex Hadley Rudolph in his first league game gets his first goal this afternoon in league footy. So well done to Alex, and a good goal.
Look at Josh Kennedy toe poke that one.
So 31 goals is the score in favour of the Towns side on the Graham scoreboard. It is 31 goals 12, 198 to Mullewa, 3 goals 624. A massive goal there to Alex Hadley Rudolph. Well done.
And just mentioning Josh Kennedy there in passing, Glenn, he is part of the Northampton side again. This playing today, I believe, and possibly will be playing more games this season than he did last.
Yes, great, isn't it? So he's doing really well, and great to see him still giving back to local footy. He just enjoys being around his mates and being around the Northampton club, and it's great to see him and Harry Taylor continuing to contribute. Harry Taylor's put his hand up to go to Country Week this year, which is another marvellous effort, so it's great to see these senior players doing well. As the siren sounds to finish the big one this afternoon, a big one for Towns anyway, and Towns 31 goals 12, 198, 198 points, have defeated Mullewa 3 goals 624, and a massive win. This is the biggest win of the year to inside in the GNFL.
74 points.
A massive win. So Towns have done it by 174 points, and a win it is, and well done to the Towns side. And Towns sitting in the 4 were last week with 5 wins, 20 premiership points, and they are a game clear of Railways. But although they won today, a game below Towns, as I mentioned, that percentage will be big from this win. So just repeating, full time at the footy, round 10 of the game today, round 10 for the purely filtration company. The full time score, Towns 31-12, 198 to more, 3-6-24, and you're to Radio Mama, the home of GNFL footy.
Today's This game day is due by our sponsor, Melissa Cross, your local member for Liga Durack. Stay tuned, home of GNFL football.
This radio station is supported by the Australian Government through the Indigenous Advancement Scheme.